What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week. As always, I want to say Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, excuse me, Happy Hanukkah, Ramadan, or whatever else you're celebrating. God bless you guys. And two stories I want to talk about today are there's a mutation in Italy and UK. So I guess as soon as the vaccine comes out for this one, they have a mutation to the next one. Interesting, interesting. And the Congress bill. All right, let's put on Facebook. Give me a thumbs up if y'all hear me. Everything sounds good. What's up, Jorge? God bless you guys. What's going on Facebook? And we're on YouTube. We got the double stream set up. The topics of today are the strain. There's a mutated strain, or they say there's a mutated strain in Italy and the UK. And also, I want to talk about the new stimulus package bill for the Congress. I don't want to harp on it too much. I don't want to bore you guys, but we need to open up America. I've said it thousands of times, so I won't talk that much about it. But $600 is a joke, and McConnell, Cruz, all these people, they need to open the country up. All right, thank you guys. What's up on YouTube? I'm gonna sip my coffee for a minute, and we'll see who's. What's up, Heather? I'll give some shout outs. We got Jeff, Lisa, Lender Monk, Kamikaze, Gio Villa. Sorry, I always mess up your name. Someone said Joe. What's going on, Joe? Chris, what's going on? Chris from New York. We got San Clemente in the house. God bless San Clemente. South. What am I trying to say? Southern California. What's up, Joe? What's up, Kevin? Exactly. Full open. I want to say it's in a little ponytail or whatever, but I got my hair cut finally. I love Facebook and YouTube because when I'm not freaking out about the shutdown, it's actually productive. I told people and I complained that my hair was too long and I couldn't find a hair cutter because it was true. And I got a message from a lovely lady who watches the live stream and her husband likes live stream. She said, my daughter cuts hair close to you. So I went and got my hair cut with her daughter and gave her $100 tip. So thank you to whoever that was that Instagram messaged me. It's like a speakeasy. I got to go in the back of the salon, but we're making moves out here. I guess that's what we're going to have to do in the future. Now that the government shuts everything down, I guess we'll have to create our own secret society where we cut each other's hair and, bring each other farm supplies and stuff, because that seems to work better than government at the moment. What's up, guys? I want to tell a funny story too. I was trying to eat with my friend, and I saw this place that I go to. They were closed indoor and outdoor a couple days ago, not that long ago. I go there and they're serving people indoors, they're serving people outdoors. The whole thing's open, and I'm super pumped, and I'm trying to eat there because I'm like, yes, you guys are opening. I love it. So I go up and I'm about to order a coffee, and the guy is fine with it. And some old lady in a mask comes up to me, like, keep in mind I'm outdoors. I'm not inside, I'm outside. She comes up to me and she says, excuse me, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to stand 6 feet back. She gives like the stand 6 feet back. I had the best response instantly. I just came up with it. I said, I'm going to stand 1,000 feet back because I'm going to walk that way and I'm never going to eat at your restaurant again. Have a good day. God bless you. Merry Christmas. And I walked away, and I was so pumped about it because usually I freak out and I just yell at them. And I was like, I'm going to stay calm this time. She's like, stand 6 feet back. I'm like, I'm going to stand 1,000 feet back because I'm not coming to your restaurant. You're treating me like a criminal. I'm just standing outdoors. These people are ridiculous. What's up, Lee? It's a late stream today. Appreciate y'all being here. I'm getting a lot of Christmas stuff done, and I couldn't help myself. I was going to take the day off, but they're talking about the new COVID strain, new COVID-19 strain, or COVID-20. I don't know, COVID 2021. Maybe they can call it Dr. Birx, Dr. Fauci. They could name it after Dr. Birx, since Dr. Birx, she's got all these COVID rules and wears a nice little, Dora the Explorer handkerchief around her, just to show you, I'm a medical doctor. I'm a professional. I wear a handkerchief just so you know I'm like holistic, but I'm not holistic. Like I'm totally, she's got that whole vibe. She was not following her own rules. Of course not. That's what they do. Rules for us, not for them. I don't want to say anything I'm going to regret, so I'm going to try to calm down. But somebody needs to hold these people accountable. They're destroying millions of businesses, millions of restaurants, thousands of people committing suicide. Opioid deaths are on the rise. People missing cancer screenings, the destruction of, mom and pop shops. And they're oops. Every time they mess up, jail would not be half of what I would do. But it's not up to me, so I'm going to calm down. First story of the day that I want to talk about before I get into the Congress stuff, I'm going to try to stay calm. I apologize. Somebody messaged me yesterday, said, Anomaly, you called me a coward. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not trying to get mad at the people who watch my thing, but 10 months into a government shutdown, I'm not trying to hear, no offense, Anomaly, I think everybody should just put on masks. It's like, yeah, let's just go dig our head in the sand and just watch them destroy the country. I don't know. Let's not. I apologize for yelling at people, but let's not do that. All right, let's keep it calm. Italy has a new patient with a new COVID strain. They're banning flights from the UK. The UK has some sort of Orwellian lockdown. Nobody wants to go there. They're closing down flights again. It's, what do you know? Right on time. What is it? Like a couple days, 11 days before the new year? Maybe they should just call this one COVID 2021 and just skip 20. It's like, well, 19 happened in 20. Technically 19, it carried over. It's like a sequel. It's like Batman Returns, right on schedule. What I find interesting about it is it came out right when the vaccine came out. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but we have the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine. If you look into it, it's very interesting because Ivanka was bragging that Trump struck a deal with Moderna, which Bill Gates has been backing since 2016. The first Moderna product is this mRNA vaccine. They've never had a product sold, and the mRNA vaccine has never been sold before this on any market, Moderna or not Moderna. Very interesting stuff. So Trump got ahead of it in January. He bought the doses in July or August before they were done with trials. So they already purchased it. You think the government's going to waste 100 million doses of something they spent billions of dollars on? Of course not. There's stories of Bayer. Look into what Bayer did with HIV pills. Google Bayer HIV pills sold to South Africa, and you can look what they did, or South America. They bought a bunch of faulty pills, and instead of letting them go to waste, they just gave them and infected other people. Interesting stuff. Look into it. But in general, all this is like, okay, we're going to get the vaccine. We're going to go back to normal. We're going to get the vaccine. We're going to go back to normal. And I hate to play armchair Monday morning quarterback or whatever you want to call it, but we called this, everyone said he's going to rush it through safety trials. As soon as the vaccine's done, we're going to go back to normal. We all heard that. I knew it wasn't going to happen. Here we are. It's not happening. And of course, there's a new strain. So we have two excuses. Even before the new strain, Dr. Fauci, aka Dr. Demon, says, you know what? I don't know that we can go back to normal with the vaccine. Like, it works. You need to get it because if you don't get it, but it doesn't really, 2 months, you get it every couple, whatever. Whenever we tell you to get it twice. If you see, a TV thing where she doesn't get it, we'll say we gave it to her, but we just gave her a second one. Nothing has to make sense. Once you're able to say that, you can't sit outdoors with 20 people, but George Floyd protests can just burn down your entire neighborhood and have 100,000 people like celebrating Joe Biden or whatever. There is no science, folks. And this is, before we get into the new strain, I'm seeing the same. I'm going to try to stay calm today. It's nighttime. It's almost Christmas season. Let's think of the good things. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I'm Mr. Snow Miser. I'm Mr. Snow. That's my favorite one. The Heat Miser, the Snow Miser. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, because you're missing out on one of the best claymation movies out there, the Heat Miser, Snow Miser one. But anyway, we'll keep it calm. I'm reminiscing about claymation movies now. I totally lost where I was, but was it Rudolph or anyway, 9 months into this thing, I told no, it's not Gumby. Gumby's a great claymation, but I'm talking Rudolph. I'm talking Heat Miser, the one, I think it's the something before Christmas or the land. I don't know. You guys know. You guys are way smarter than me with this type of stuff. But with this vaccine, they put it out and they're saying that we can't go back to normal. It's, I don't know what the reason is. Oh, I remember what I was saying now. I got you. Sorry. The Heat Miser, Snow Miser, it gets in my head. I just start reminiscing of my childhood, thinking claymation, Rudolph's dancing, the Heat Miser's dancing. You got Mother Nature. She's saying, boys, calm down. It's just a good time. Sometimes you just want to quit and just watch Christmas movies all day. But what I was saying was, I'm seeing a bunch of conservatives. They still are trying to cope in their heads, and I'm gonna be nice. They're trying to figure out the science, and I know there's a lot of good people, but they're like, it's like the same game. It's like, I don't understand. Why are they hypocrites? Why is Dr. Birx not listening? Why? We have to cope with the fact they're trying to kill the country, okay? They're not trying to save people's lives. When you look at why life expectancy was going backwards before this year, we were always getting better and better and healthier, and then life expectancy took a dive. Even the US government admits it's for two reasons, mainly, although there's some other things: opioids, which is big pharma for the most part, and suicides. And a lot of the suicides comes from the mental health, and a lot of the mental health comes from the pills as well. There's other reasons, but big pharma, and in my opinion, drugs save lives and drugs kill people. That's not, shouldn't be a controversial statement. You have many drugs that save many people's lives, and it's really good. But then you have people who overdose on cocaine, heroin, opioids, pharmacy things. This is real. So it's a very fine line. You got to make sure you don't do too much. They've been doing too much for decades, and life expectancy has been crashing. So this year we gave those same companies, those same corporations, those same people like Fauci who have done nothing about this stuff. And if you look at their track record of infectious diseases and other types of stuff going on with kids, you can't really say that they're doing a good job unless you're a liar. But in general, you give the reins over to them, and they're ignoring everything. They're ignoring small business devastation. They're ignoring what could happen to our financial situation. They're ignoring what could happen to third world countries who don't have a month to shut down. They're ignoring all the health of the disgusting things they're doing. I've mentioned them before. Missing cancer screenings. You have hospital mistakes. John Hopkins claims that they kill hundreds of thousands of people per year, and now you're not even allowed to look at your relative in a hospital because they won't let you. All this sick, disgusting thing. I have no doubt in my mind they're hurting more people than they're helping. Not even close. Not even close. So the point I'm trying to get to before we talk about the mutation is, are conservatives going to play this game where they're trying to figure out the science? Like, I'm crunching the numbers. It's not adding up. It's not adding up for a reason, because the only science that makes sense, there's no science that says you can go to TJ Maxx with 100 people, but then you could yell at your kid for having Christmas dinner with them. That's what I'm not trying to throw my family under the bus. I love my family, but it's like, they go out, they shop, they're around 100 people. Then I come home and it's like, you do this, you do that. This one's out with 1,000 people. I'm out with 100 people. But if you have around 3 people, it's just brought out the tyranny in people. There's no science that says it's a good idea to make people eat outdoors in a snowstorm. That's not science. This is tyranny. It's obvious. So the point I'm getting to, the only science that seems to add up is if somebody's trying to kill this nation's health, they're doing a good job. If somebody's trying to kill the mental health of America, they're doing a good job. If somebody's trying to kill the First Amendment, they're doing a good job. If somebody's trying to kill the restaurant industry, they're succeeding with scientific perfection. If somebody is trying to destroy the United States of America, the Western world, and essentially the world, then they're doing, that's the science. So in order to even accomplish what's going on or accomplish a goal, we have to cope with what's going on. It's like 9 months into this, we've crunched all the numbers. The worst countries in deaths per capita are all lockdown countries. You have California go into a hard lockdown and the numbers get worse. You're hard pressed to find a situation that has an open freedom area that's doing astronomically worse than these lockdown places. It doesn't exist. The worst countries in deaths per capita for a long time have all been lockdown countries. So to make a long story short, let's just be honest about it. They're killing us. They're killing our country. They're killing public health. They're killing freedom. They're killing the Constitution. They're isolating elderly people, which is going to lead to more deaths. They're psychologically abusing children and taking away their childhood. They're killing the country purposely, or they're the dumbest people on the planet. So you guys can figure it out. But until we get to that point and be like, yeah, this is the science. We've crunched all the numbers since April. Until we get to that point, we're just playing a tweet game. I don't understand. I mean, why would we do this if they do this? Because they're trying to kill us, Charlie. Because they're trying to kill us. Okay? Enough viral tweets. We get it. Yeah. Why? Thought emoji. Why are they doing that? Because they're destroying the country. Okay. So now that they have the vaccine that came out, all of a sudden, there's a new strain of COVID-19. A few things are interesting to me about this. First of all, when it comes to these vaccines, there's a reason I talk about them. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. That's the label that they're going to try to throw on me. And when they can successfully attach that to your name, they can destroy your Wikipedia. Luckily, I don't have one because I'm sure they'd have nothing nice to say. They can destroy your public image. They don't write about me. Let's keep it that way. And they could take away your social media and try to limit you like they've already done for way less offenses for them. So I don't accept that title. I don't like it. I don't believe it. I'm not that. So some people say maybe I'm that. I know their games. They try to make up these labels like climate change denier. I'm not denying the climate's changing. I'm accurately speaking science. So when it comes to vaccines, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. That's a smear label. I am a pro-science. I'm a pro-safe medicine person. And the truth is, under Ronald Reagan, he passed, I forget the exact name, you could look it up, with heavy pressure. He had heavy pressure, maybe the heaviest, to pass this bill. And since then, they took away financial liability for vaccines. So now we live in a world where even if you watch CNN, what's that guy's father's name? Not Chris Wallace, Mike Wallace, whichever one's the father. There's a great piece, if you could find it. Mike Wallace does a piece on a vaccine-injured woman, and they used to cover that on CNN. Now, no news covers that. No news is allowed to cover it. It doesn't even exist in the mainstream media. From Fox News to CNN, what do you think one of their main sponsors is? If you watch Fox News, it's Judge Jeanine screaming at you before she left. Blah, 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 the left. I like Judge Jeanine, but she's just, she hypes you up, gets you tense. And then the commercials, pharmacy pill. You watch CNN, orange man bad, blah, Russia. Pill. So the news networks are dominated by the pharmacy industry. All they do is sell pills, and then they sell you this lie that they've never done anything wrong. That's what they say. You can't possibly question Big Pharma, even though if you have two eyes, unlike my girl Helen Keller, who now they're saying she has white privilege. I feel bad for her. She couldn't even see her or hear her white privilege, and people are smearing her after her life. If you're going to smear Helen Keller posthumous, do it because she was a communist, not because she was white. That's my opinion. But anyway, if you have eyes, you could see all of these commercials are like talking about the Johnson & Johnson product. They're talking about the pill that they told you to take 10 years ago. So anybody that watches TV knows that these products are not all what they say they are, or else there wouldn't be commercials to sue them. So now what you have is you can't really get financial liability. Pfizer will not be financially liable for this vaccine. Moderna will not be financially liable for this vaccine. I'm not sure that any, company is financially liable since they passed the Vaccine Child Safety Act or whatever they call it to make them not liable. So the one thing you would have to hold these pharmacy companies accountable would be the free press. The press is not free anymore, and they rig social media. So the reason I'm trying to say it is, one, I'm not anti-vaxxer. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just talking about the truth. And the truth is, you can't question these vaccines. If you do in court and you win somehow, it's going to be tough. If you win somehow, you won't get the money from Pfizer or Moderna. You'll probably get it from some government slush fund. It's one and the same. And Trump hired Alex Azar, who is, I think, a Pfizer executive for HHS. It's one big family, one big club, and you're not in it. I don't talk about it just to smear Trump or hate on people. I talk about it because it's one of the biggest crises of our time. When our life expectancy goes backwards and even our government admits it's because of pharmacy pills or opioids, and it's driving our youth into suicide, and it's driving people into overdose, and it's a huge problem. And you have Purdue Pharmacy getting, charged, knowingly doing all this stuff. You have Bayer knowingly sending HIV pills here. I mean, their track record is horrible. And they've done nothing to drain that swamp. They've only given them positions in the government, and they're not liable. So this is important because anything that happens from this, two things, they're not liable, but you're not even allowed to talk about it. You're a conspiracy theorist. They'll call you an anti-vaxxer. They'll suggest you're cuckoo like Cocoa Puffs and wipe you off of the internet. So my thing is, what are they going to call? Now there's a new strain. Wow. So, the new strain, who knows what it's going to do? I mean, anything else that happened this year, it's COVID-19, financial collapse. It's really not just COVID-19. It's, to be honest, it's not even China. I mean, China is egregious, but China didn't force Boris Johnson to destroy England. Boris Johnson destroyed England. China didn't force Trump and McConnell and Pelosi and whoever else you want to blame on it. They didn't force the United States government. Tennessee's closing down now. The Republican governor in Tennessee, Ron DeSantis, is open at 90-80% capacity. California's in shambles. That's not China. The virus came from China, but the authoritarian response to COVID-19 is coming from all the Western leaders. They're all in on it. Either they're all really stupid or they're all in on it. And it's one big show. So when it comes to COVID-20 or whatever they're calling this one, or the new strain of COVID, how interesting that nothing that they do this year is their fault. People die. It's COVID-19. Flu? What's the flu? We don't even know what it is anymore. It's COVID-19. Wow, the flu disappeared. Now they're trying to write articles. They think we're stupid. The flu disappeared because people are wearing masks and they're social distancing. So that stopped the flu. No, that didn't stop the flu. The flu is probably just as prevalent as it is every year. But instead of just calling things the flu, I've had the flu 5 times. I've never been tested for the flu. When they don't feel like, when it's not something that serious, if you don't have a major illness or you don't have strep throat, they usually test you for strep because, usually it's better to get something for that. They just call it the flu. Now they call it COVID. So there's no more flu because there's financial incentive for COVID. And that's the truth. So with financial collapse, it's not Congress's fault. It's COVID's fault. With anything that happens from these vaccines that have no liability, you're not allowed to even suggest it. I mean, should we listen to Bill Gates talk about it? I think we should, because if I talk about it, they might say I'm a bad person or something. So let's leave it to William Gates. Does he have a doctorate or no? I don't think he did go to school. I think he just has a long, creepy, and never mind. Let's just let him talk. I don't want this video to get taken down. Let's hear what he says. This is the Moderna vaccine, folks, that Trump is rushing through FDA trials. That's on the market now. This is Bill Gates, not me. Okay.
The Moderna vaccine sound concerning. We looked. After the second dose, at least 80% of participants experienced a systemic side effect, ranging from severe chills to fevers.
He holds his cough like this.
So
this is the Bill Gates.
Are these vaccines safe?
Well, the FDA, not being pressured, will look hard at that. The FDA is the gold standard of regulators, and their current guidance on this, if they stick with that, is very, very appropriate. And the side effects were not super severe. That is, it didn't cause permanent health problems for the things that they,
Hold on. First of all, super chat. Someone said, "Thank you for speaking on the opiate crisis. My father is currently addicted to OxyContin." God bless your father and everybody. The opioid crisis, the pill crisis is huge. So God bless your father. First of all, he said, we're going to run that back because I'm interested how he knows that there's no long-term side effects. Hold on.
Things that Moderna did have to go with a fairly high dose as permanent health. Side effects were not super severe. That is, it didn't cause permanent health problems.
All right. So he said the side effects to Moderna were not severe. They didn't cause permanent health effects. I'm no Fauci. I'm no Bill Gates. But how do you test for long-term permanent health effects when you rush this through safety trial in 8 months? How do you do that? They've warp speeded this. The quickest vaccine that they've ever got through safety trials was 4 years. The average is usually, if the quickest is 4 years, 5 to 10 years usually. This one went in under a year. And it's an mRNA vaccine. It's not a normal vaccine. Trump's not talking about it. Bill Gates is not talking about it. I don't think they want you to know. I want you to know. I'm not going to lie to you about it. I'm not going to say it's going to turn you into a frog or a robot. I'm just going to tell you, look into it. Look at the CDC website. Google what mRNA is. Google what synthetic mRNA is. Look at the science that they say it is. And then ask yourself, this is new. This is something that's been slightly tested and experimental, and they've kind of done it with something else, but they've never had an mRNA vaccine on the market. And you're telling me that coronavirus is so bad that they need to get it out within 7 months, and Bill Gates is on television is admitting that there's side effects to almost everybody who takes it. The woman calls him out, and he says, well, there's no permanent health effects. How do you know if there's permanent health effects, Bill Gates? It's only been 7 or 8 months. How do you test for 10 years down the road when the person who got it first was probably this year in a trial? You don't. And you know what they're going to call it? COVID-19, or they'll call it COVID-20, or they'll call you a lunatic. You know how many mothers? I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm a pro-listener. I'm not anti-mask. I'm pro-face. That's what somebody said. I know, made by Jim Bob, made a meme out of that. I'm not an anti-masker. I'm a pro-face. But listen, there's thousands upon tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of moms who have kids who have problems and who are very vocal about vaccination. So I listen to them. I hear their stories, and it's hard to sue because the vaccine companies are not liable. And even talking about that is really difficult. Someone said 39 flu cases here in San Diego. That's amazing. Someone said, religious exemption. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But let's get back to Bill Gates, because he's talking. I can't say this stuff. If I say this, I'm a lunatic. I'm just going to be honest. I'm still, just like I got a haircut. Somebody cut my hair. I need a lawyer because Facebook, my page is starting to build up again because people are realizing that it got rigged and it's starting to get good views. Last live stream got 70,000 views or so, but they shut it down because I quoted the CDC. Bill Gates could say this, but if I quote the CDC, I literally just copy paste what they said. That's a violation of the CDC. Doesn't make sense. They don't care. But let's let my friend Bill Gates talk about it. He does a better job talking about the side effects than me.
For the things there, Moderna did have to go with a fairly high dose, and so to get the antibodies. Some of the other vaccines are able to go with lower doses to get responses that are pretty high, including the J&J and the Pfizer. And so there's a lot of characteristics of these vaccines. It's great that we have multiple of them.
He sounds really not confident. She said, Bill, almost everybody who had these had a side effect. He said, yeah, I mean, we did have to go with the higher dose. That's not him saying it's not happening. That's him conceding, saying, well, yeah, I mean, we had to go with a high dose. So, I mean, these things come with it, but he doesn't care. Bill Gates doesn't care because Pfizer and Moderna are not going to be liable for this. It's going to go through the Vaccine Safety Act that Reagan passed. They never will be financially held liable. Imagine if you could make a car and your car, crashed 20% of the time or 5% of the time or 1% of the time. And no matter how much it crashed, you never had to pay a single dollar for it. Do you think car companies or other companies would be as financially incentivized to do the right thing? I mean, can you even ask that question? I don't know. Let's keep playing.
That are going out there, and yes, I think
you know the data better than I do. But the data showed that everybody with a high dose had a side effect.
Yeah, but some of that is not dramatic, where it's just super painful. But yes, we need to make sure there's not severe side effects. The FDA, I think, will do a good job of that, despite the pressure.
He looks pissed that she questioned him. So in general, I think it's very interesting that the new strain of COVID's out right for 2020. It's on world tour, folks. January 21, world tour, COVID-20, COVID, whatever they want to call it. Meanwhile, they're having parties in Wuhan. And I want to say this. You could blame China. China is probably not your friend as far as, I'm sure the Chinese people like you, but as far as the communist government, they probably don't like you very much. But is it China's fault that President Trump signed the CARES Act? Is it China's fault that Trump passed the emergency order? Is it China's fault that Trump turned into a Bill Gates vaccine salesman? Is it China's fault that the Republican Tennessee governor is shutting down his state? Is it China's fault that the Republican mayors in California do nothing? Is it China's fault that the Democrat mayors in Florida do whatever they want and Ron DeSantis can't seem to lure him in? Is it China's fault that we have a Republican Supreme Court, not counting John Roberts because he's a phony? We still have a Supreme Court that's Republican. Is it China's fault that they're not doing anything? Ask yourself why your government, your leaders, your party, your people are allowing all this to happen. Not allowing it to happen, not just watching it happen, funding it, supporting it, sanctioning it, and becoming a PR team for it. So with this Moderna and Pfizer vaccine, this is not a small issue because multiple things. First of all, this year, in my perspective, this was a simulation, even though it was a real simulation. So if you go back to 2019, they did something called Event 201. I bring it up a lot. You should check it out. It's very fascinating. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Johns Hopkins, and World Economic Forum, they did a simulation of a coronavirus. They said, if a coronavirus hits the country, here's how we're going to act. What's also very interesting, which also got my page censored on Facebook. So I'm going to say it again. This is what got my page censored, and I'm just going to repeat it. Look up the Newsweek article where Dr. Fauci in Wuhan was funding gain of function or gain in function manipulation of bat coronaviruses. He was for years manipulating bat coronaviruses that couldn't naturally transmit into humans and making them stronger so they could transmit into humans. Multiple experts told him not to do it because it's obviously highly dangerous. It could start a pandemic. That's what they said in that article. But Dr. Fauci did it anyway because he said, I'm going to look in this because I want to use it for a vaccine. So I'm helping the safety of the world by taking a bat coronavirus that can transmit into humans, and I'm going to manipulate it so it can transmit into humans. And then I'm going to tell you against other experts that that's really for your safety. That's what Dr. Fauci did. Newsweek covered it, but you're not allowed to talk about it. We don't have free speech anymore. This could get my whole page taken down, but I'm going to not say anything mean. Look it up. It's a Newsweek article. So that happened. Interesting. Can't talk about it. Can't think about it. Can't say it. Just have to say, oh, it's a China virus, Trump virus, China virus, Trump virus. They love that. That's called the Roman circus, folks. You blame China. They blame Trump. No one gets to the bottom of it. Is China involved? Of course. Is Trump involved? A little bit. Is that the main story that's going on? Is that going to get to the root of the tree? No, that's why they let you say it's the left versus the right, blue versus red. You fight about Eric Swalwell and Fang because that's funny for retweets, but you're not going to solve anything. They know that. So that's the arena of acceptable debate. Someone said, but Robert Kennedy touched his nose. Yeah, trust the plan. Robert Kennedy touched his nose. No, but so in general, Event 201 was them basically having a response for coronavirus. When a pandemic hits, they didn't want to be unprepared. So they really mapped out exactly what they do. They did it last year. So this year, they did it. They did everything that they said was going to do. It was an overreaction with all the data we had. The world, what is it? The World Health Organization, they said it was 3.4% death rate in March. You could watch my videos in March if you guys remember, if you guys were with me then. I said, there's no way. I called it out early on. There's no way this is the 3.4 death rate because they're not counting all the cases. They don't even have tests available. So if you only have 100 cases and these like 3 people died, yeah, it's a 3% death rate, but that doesn't include the millions of people who have it that never got tested. It was obvious from the start that the death rate was lower, but I didn't see Fox News do that reporting. CNN didn't do it. Nobody in the Trump administration said it, so they just shut the country down. But in general, this year in a way was like, I think a test run, even though it's real, I'm just saying, they got to look, how would Republicans respond? How would Democrats respond? How would the UK respond? How would Italy respond? How would gun owners respond? How would militias respond? That's why they hate militias, First Amendment militias. They know you guys are a threat, but in general, how is everyone going to respond? And I've said this, and I'll say it again. I think we got an F. Trump got an F. We got an F. We did terrible. Trump did terrible. So they're not afraid of us. They're not afraid of Trump. They're not afraid of anybody at this point because no one did anything. They got away with every single thing that they did. And this is why I try to hold Trump's feet to the fire, because if you have big pharma, which is not liable for lawsuits, they have very little incentive to do the right thing. They get caught. Purdue Pharmacy gets caught. They get a lawsuit. They give up some money. They make more money. They don't care. They've got caught multiple times and they've had very little liability. So it's not like me being mean. It's like, if you don't hold these people accountable, they're never going to stop. So the world's worst people did the world's worst thing this year. They locked everybody up like prisoners and slaves. Trump gave them $10 billion of funding. He rushed their vaccines through safety trial. At this point, I can't really tell the difference between Bill Gates and Trump. Who likes Moderna more? Bill Gates loved it for years. Trump's selling it like a snake oil salesman. So the point I'm getting to is they've looked at this year and been like, we can literally do whatever we want. The people are quashed. They think Trump has a super secret plan. They're going to rally for him and do the election thing. George Floyd, the liberals are just brainwashed completely. They love the masks. It's like a teddy bear to them. There's no reason they wouldn't. There's a new one. There's a new vaccine. There's a new mutation. Of course. Why would there not be? Why would this ever end? They have no incentive to end it. They've gotten everything they've wanted to do. They've always hated capitalism and free market capitalism, even though it's been sneaky since the central bank. They wanted to completely implode the system, and they have. They've bankrupted hundreds of thousands of restaurants, millions of small businesses, and they've destroyed the Western world. And no one stopped them. Trump just sold vaccines. So are we really surprised that there's a new strain? This is going to go on forever. There's no end date to this because no one's doing anything about it. So that's why I've been so hyped up recently. If Trump supporters want to rally for the election, they said, Anomaly, are you going to be in D.C. on January 6th? No. You want me to go to Washington, D.C. and pledge my allegiance to a vaccine salesman? I'll pass. I'd rather be at the beach. If you guys want to start an anti-lockdown protest, that's fine. I'll be there. But if you guys are not going to protest the lockdown, you guys still aren't doing that, you're a joke. No one's afraid of you in the world. I'm sorry. This is just a Roman circus. So everybody's going to run in circles, and eventually you're going to get this same exact thing that we got last year, except for worse. Maybe it's going to be a worse virus. Maybe it's not. Maybe they're just, who knows what it is? I mean, they don't have to tell the truth at all. Nothing they did this year made any sense. You crunch the numbers from March, April, May, June, none of it made sense. The death rates were wrong. The response was wrong. The lockdowns were wrong. The mask mandate was wrong. Everything they did was wrong if you think they're trying to save you. Everything they did was right if you think they're trying to humiliate you, kill your country, kill the church, kill your spirit, kill your family, and just destroy this country until the point that Amazon, Facebook, Google, and pharmacy companies have more money and no one else can compete with them because they don't own any physical property. The digital overhaul of America. They installed 5G towers, which is used in China as a control system. Trump did it. No one saw it. No one noticed. And now you live in China's slave world. Coincidence? Probably not, but can't talk about it, so let's not. So in general, why wouldn't they do a mutation? This is only going to go away when people actually stand up to it. So this year was a slow test run / a huge success for the elites, and they're only going to get worse. It's only going to get crazier because they've successfully figured out how to really manipulate both sides. And then I'm going to move on to the second story. The left wing is, in my opinion, I hate to be rude, but useless. The left wing is useless. Like, I love masks. I love social isolation. It's good to lock my grandma up. I think it's okay that California is getting destroyed. I mean, let's destroy all the restaurants. The left wing is just completely useless. They're not freedom fighters. Clearly, they don't think this is bad, or they don't understand the Great Reset concept of global communism, or they agree with it or whatever. So they're useless. So now you have 50% of the population who actually cares, maybe 60%. Out of that 60%, how many of them trust the plan? How many of them were indoctrinated by an anonymous message board poster who told them that the only way to save America was to be complacent during a communist lockdown and trust Bill Barr? Trust Bill Barr, the guy who oversaw the Epstein thing and saw nothing wrong. Trust him. So now 10%. Now you have 50, 40%. I don't know. Out of that, they're waiting for the super secret plan. And then you have people who love Trump so much that nothing matters to them anymore. Not everybody, but some people, you say, hey, I'm just accurately reporting history. Like, listen, I liked Trump, but as far as I gave him a shot with this election, and he turned into a vaccine salesman. He shut down the country past Easter. He didn't open up. He shut it down past Easter. Every step of the way, he's made the costly move. Emergency order, CARES Act. There was one congressman, I'm just accurately reporting it, only one congressman that I know called out the CARES Act as what it was, the biggest scam in modern U.S. history, the biggest wealth transfer, the biggest bamboozle, the biggest theft of the American people. They shut down all your restaurants and businesses, locked you inside like a slave, and then did a multi-trillion-dollar bill and gave you back $1,200 after they exploited trillions of dollars from the system. It was the biggest wealth transfer in modern history. Only one person called it out. That was Thomas Massie. And Thomas Massie said, not only is this a scam, not only is all this an overreaction, not only is this going to be so devastating to the American people that this is going to gut the middle class for generations, but they're not even telling you who's voting on it. They're voting in the dark. They're using coronavirus to conceal who's voting yes and who's voting no. And do you know how President Trump thanked Thomas Massie, a real patriot who tried to stand up against the biggest theft in U.S. history? Trump said he's a third-rate politician. Kick him out of the Republican Party. That's what President Trump did. So only in people's heads do they think that he was on the right side of the lockdown. He's on the wrong side of the lockdown, wrong side of the CARES Act, wrong side of it all, wrong side of extending it past Easter, extended it past Easter. Since then has been a lockdown apologist, never told people the truth, never told people the real data. It's really simple. A few times he said the cure is worse than the virus, which is true, but he's done virtually nothing with his team. I don't get paid by him or anyone. I make my own money. But why is my reporting better than anybody in the White House? Why is my reporting better than anyone on Fox News? I know why, because I work hard and I'm good at it. But what I'm saying is they have billions of dollars. They have trillions of dollars. Why are they not doing this? They could do this. You think they can't do it? If I could do it, just some random guy who makes YouTube videos when I used to just be a hip hop artist, they can do it. They don't want to do it. They have no plan of giving you the real data. The only one who really actually did a good job of it was Elon Musk. Say what you want about Elon Musk. Say he's a liar, say he's sneaky, whatever. Elon Musk did a fantastic job of explaining why the coronavirus data was a complete disaster. Elon did a better job than Trump. So the point I'm getting to is I'm not trying to knock people while they're down. I'm just saying the reason that nothing's gotten done this year is because the left wing is completely useless. 30, 40% of Trump's base, 50, 60. I don't really know. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more. Most people are busy, but a lot of people just don't want to believe that this is happening. So they'll run in circles around the election. They'll run in circles beforehand. They'll run in circles all year as the country just withers away. So the point I'm getting to is I don't want to repeat myself on last streams. Italy and UK have a new virus. Of course they will. The goalposts are, someone said, be careful. You be careful. First of all, have a Merry Christmas, Lincoln, but I don't need, I'm not going to get upset today because I'm in a good mood. This is the problem with the country. I'm not a coward. Okay, Lincoln, I'm not a coward. I don't need to be careful. You need to be careful because if you want to be a coward, you're going to end up in a gulag in 5 years, okay? If you want to scare the very few people that are brave and actually telling the truth about this, you're going to end up in a gulag and everyone's going to, there is no safe route for you. You can't go on a cruise. You can't fly on a plane normally. You can't live your life. You're living like a prisoner. You have less freedom than people in China. It's time to be a real man, Lincoln, okay? I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, why would you try to take your fear and throw it onto me? It's so pathetic. Like you're going to be in the gulag with your head about to get chopped off and you're like, oh, anomaly, don't say the truth. You're going to get executed in 10 years at this rate, Lincoln. So do you not care about, do you not notice something's going on? Is it time to be a coward or is it time to, if you're going to be a coward, keep it to yourself. That's all I ask. If you're afraid, keep it inside. Don't try to throw your fear onto me because it's embarrassing. And this is the problem with the country right now. Everyone's afraid. Now you could be a scared little slave. Maybe next year you'll have shackles, your social distancing shackles, and you could walk around and say, man, I'm afraid of people who are free. I'm fine. And if I'm not, I'd rather die than ever be that cowardly. So this is no way to live. This is a depressing world. This is a depressing year. What they're doing psychologically to the kids and the elderly and the people middle-aged like myself or lower than that is evil. I don't want to live in an evil world. I'd rather die than live in an evil world. So if you're afraid, that's a personal issue. Keep it to yourself. In general, they have no incentive not to do this stuff. So next year, they're going to open up Pandora's box. You guys are just floating in the wind. It's like if they want to open up the economy and make Joe Biden look good, they'll do that and say he's a hero. If they want to close it down and put you guys in a prison cell, they'll do that. Who's going to stop them? So hopefully after this election, when people are done running in circles around the vaccine salesman who sold out the country this year and doesn't have a plan to save you, hopefully you'll join me and hopefully people will start standing up in their communities and really scaring Trump and scaring McConnell and scaring Pelosi as opposed to them just laughing hysterically at you guys because it doesn't matter what they do. You guys will support them, cheer it on like they're saving the world, even though they're doing nothing. So that's the goal in 2021, because as far as new strains and vaccines, and they have unlimited games to play. And this is, you got to get off the merry-go-round. This is, it's like a merry-go-round, and eventually you just got to get out of the circus and stand to the side, and that's how we're going to win. Because I'm not trying to pick on people, but all year, if you guys watch my videos, how many people, I would say 100, more than 100, and I'm not just talking about on live streams, I'm talking about my messages, private messages, public messages, hundreds of people, if not thousands of people said, Anomaly, when the vaccine's available, we're going to be free. And I said it all year. It's not true. You have to get off the carousel. If you play dumb games, you get dumb prizes. If you please the left wing, you become the left wing. If you do what the left says, you're just the left wing. If you do socialism and communism because they want it, you're nothing. So it's time to figure that out. Of course, they're going to have new strains and new vaccines and new lockdowns and new social distancing laws. And even when you get the vaccine, you still have to wear the mask. And now you need the vaccine card. And this has been the plan since April and March. And it's been obvious since April. I give people a 15-day pass. It was very confusing at the beginning because who knows? Maybe it was a real virus that's super deadly, that's killing everyone. I understand why people were fooled at the beginning. After April, it was pretty obvious. In May, it was glaringly obvious. In June, it was glaringly obvious. In December, it's so shockingly obvious. I have like no patience for people that don't understand. So the point I'm getting to is we can't play these games anymore. We just can't. I mean, people can get mad at me. They say, Anomaly, I'm unfollowing. You think I care? I mean, it's a little sad. Just don't let the door hit you on the way out because I don't want you to get hurt. You know, sometimes it hits you in the bum on the way out. But I don't care. This is never going to stop until we figure out the more we do what they want, the more they do it. The more we're submissive. If Trump rushes Bill Gates' vaccine, he's not fighting Bill Gates. He's telling Bill Gates and Fauci and Birx and Pfizer and Moderna and all these companies and all these bigwigs and the World Health Forum, whatever you want to call them, he's telling them they can do whatever they want. If you shut down the country, we'll reward you with $10 billion. If you terrorize our people, we'll give you money and I'll become a salesman to you. That's not stopping them. That's telling them. Now they look at us like we're like, you ever have a pig roast where the pig's just roasting? That's us right now, folks. That's MAGA. MAGA thinks they're fighting for the election with Sidney Powell. God bless Sidney Powell. This is what you look like right now. Operation Warp Speed's a success. Trump didn't do the lockdowns. It was Pelosi. Blame China, even though it's both parties in our country. You look like a pig roasting on. They're not afraid of you. So next year, sorry, I'm a little dizzy now. Next year, you got to be a little scarier, okay? You guys are the big bad wolves. You got the Second Amendment, we got camouflage, we got, middle America, militias and stuff. We got to be a little bit scarier to these people. They're not scared of us right now, folks. The tweets about Fang and Eric Swalwell, nobody's scared of it. No, it's funny, but no one's scared of us. So next year we could change that. And I think it's obvious what's going on, but regardless if Trump wins or loses, this is going to be the new story. New strains, new viruses, and we're not, at least here, let's go to the second story. We're not going to play this game of trying to figure out what they're doing. Like, I like Scott Adams. Scott Adams is a really nice guy, and I actually really enjoy him. I feel like if we got a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, me and Scott Adams would have a great time. Dilbert is great. It's one of the only cartoons left in the newspaper that's not propaganda. I go and defend my man Scott Adams when he's fighting with left-wing losers. He's pissed today. He's pissed because he's doing the data in his head, and I think he's finally come to the conclusion that none of it makes sense. He's like, I'm going to be pissed if this happens. Bro, they've been lying the whole time. I like Scott, but it's like the science is not to save lives. The science is not to be right. The science is to kick the can down the road as far as they possibly can and just gut our country while people try to come to grips with what they're doing. That's what they're doing. That is the science. The science is if you gut 100,000 restaurants and Uber Eats and Uber and Lyft and Amazon and Walmart and these companies grow, that you're not going to have anywhere to go in 5 years. That's the science. The science is if you psychologically abuse an entire generation and more people kill themselves from suicide and opioids, and that's the science. The science is if you shut down the hospital for 4 months and then you open the hospital, the science says it's going to be packed. in a lot of these areas, California, New York, New Jersey, they already had capacity problems because the infrastructure is not big enough for the influx of people. Or, it's a bad flu season a couple years ago. They've already had packed hospitals. I've been when it was already at capacity. So this year you shut down for 4 months. You think New Jersey, New York, California can afford to shut down for 4 months? Who's not busy? I barely got a haircut, because everyone's like, we're too busy. Yeah, that's what happens when you shut. That's the science. The science is the hospitals are full because they shut down for 4 months. And among coronavirus, which is obviously going to infect people, you also have the problems arising from social isolation, fear, stress, overeating, overdrinking. Combine that with people who already have comorbidities, like half our country, because we're an obese, pilled out of shape country. No offense. It's like we're blessed. We're blessed to live so good in America. We haven't had to chop wood like our ancestors as much, and we haven't had to do that much. So we became a lazy nation who's well-fed, and it's a blessing. We live a good life, even it is what it is. But I'm just saying, it's like, is it shocking to me that more and more people are getting sick when more and more people are getting fatter and more people are dying? Well, no, this is no way to treat people. I'm even getting less healthy because they closed my gym down, so I can't. So you get what I'm saying. I don't want to get into it, but the new strain is in Italy and UK, and 2021. Our attitude here is, folks, they have unlimited goalposts. They have unlimited ways to kick the can down the road. When MAGA, and I say MAGA because it's going to be the Trump supporters. It's not going to be the liberals unless they smarten up. When you say enough is enough, enough is enough. But if you run circles around Donald Trump and you say he didn't have a part of it, or he's doing that as a three-dimensional chess plan, or he always knows what's best for me, he did this purposely, that's the sickest one to me. It's like, it's one thing if you like Donald Trump. I get it. It's one thing if you have hope in him. I get it. I get that. I don't understand, he purposely just destroyed hundreds of thousands of restaurants because he has a 5D plan. Well, then he's not as good of a person as you think he is. I don't think he meant to do this. Honestly, I think he's nicer than that. I don't think he purposely killed 100,000 businesses. I think he's just not doing the right thing, or he's not capable, but then we can't wait for him. I don't know what it is, but they think he purposely just destroyed everybody's life, psychologically abusing it. It's like, no, I don't think he meant to do that. But anyway, we got to do it in 2021, folks. No more complaining, just solutions. All right. Second story I want to talk about is the $600 stimulus bill, and then I'm going to get some questions. Thank you guys for being here. We have over 3,000 people, 1,400 on YouTube, 1,600 on Facebook. Appreciate you guys. I want to talk about the $600 stimulus bill from the beginning and in general now. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't care if it's Pelosi. I don't care if it's McConnell. I don't care if it's Ted Cruz. I don't care if it's DeSantis. I don't care who it is. Our message should have been and should be, because we can't go back in time, stop doing this. Open the country up. If you want to give everyone $600, whatever, but open the country up, because we shut down for 15 days and then they gave you $1,200. Then they shut down for 7 months and then gave you $800. So $1,200 was supposed to be for the 30 days, and that's not even enough. And now they're giving you $600 or whatever, $600 after 8 months of shutdown. Next year, it's going to be 2 years of enslavement, and they're going to give you $300. Do you not get what's going on? Trump's not stopping it. McConnell's not stopping it. They don't care. They have no plan. Only in your head do they have a super secret plan. They have no plan to open this country. Either they're in on the circus and they're purposely gutting this country, or they're just so far detached from what the average person like you or me has to deal with that they don't really care. They're on helicopters. They don't wear masks. They're at meet and greets. They're meeting world presidents. I don't really think Trump cares that much, folks. Even during the shutdown, he's on TV every day. He's talking for hours. He's having a good time. If I got to talk for 4 hours a day and meet 1,000 people, I might not care as much too. So they don't care. We can make them care. Someone said DeSantis has vowed not to close Florida. Everything is open in Central Florida. Yeah, but in the Democrat areas, it's still closed down. There's still at capacity laws. There's still mask mandates. It's cool. I'm glad Central Florida is open. That's awesome. DeSantis is better than everyone else, but this is, without getting too upset, this is what we're talking about. 25% capacity is not cool. 80% capacity, that's not cool. Florida's a shell of what it was last year. That's not cool. I would even argue and say that certain areas of California last year are more free than Florida this year. Yes, you can have a gun, but I'm talking about business and going to, Disney. Last year, you didn't have to wear a mask in California. This year, you have to wear a mask in Florida. There needs to be no excuses for this stuff. I'm glad you can live your life freely, but if this country stays at capacity laws, we're dead, folks. We're dead. So be careful, Anomaly. You be careful, because we're dead in 10 years if you don't turn this around soon, within the next 5-6 months. So we can do it. We're very lucky because we're America. We're in much better shape than a third world country. They're probably screwed after doing this. We probably screwed those countries. But in general, this stimulus is a joke. The message needs to be, whether at Trump, at anyone, the message needs to be, stop celebrating what he's doing. He doesn't deserve a parade, folks. Everybody's going to go in the street and say what a good job he's doing. He's selling Bill Gates' vaccine. He's signing off on stimulus packages. He signed off on the CARES Act. He yelled at Thomas Massey for telling the truth about it. He doesn't deserve a parade right now, okay? I gave him till after the election, and I thought he was going to change. He just got worse. He got worse after the election. He didn't wake up and say, okay, the optics are done. I thought he was going to do that. Like, okay, the optics are done. He's like, no, Moderna. It's like, the dude's, it's a joke. So we need to pressure them. Trump needs to feel the heat. McConnell needs to feel the heat. If Biden, God forbid, he needs to feel the heat. Whoever it is, prove to them you're ungovernable. You're unlockable. A stimulus check while they keep stuff shut down with no plan to open it up is a sick joke. And you should go right up the chain from McConnell to Trump to all of them. Supreme Court, where are you? But there's no pushback. The MAGA movement is all about the election. You guys are running in circles. I get it. You want them to win. But I just don't see it as a viable strategy right now as the country burns. That's fine. People can do what they want until January. But to me, they're kicking the can down the road. And they don't feel any pressure, no pressure at all to stop doing this. There should be such a big movement in this country that they feel like they need to open tomorrow. So we'll work on it. I'm going to read a few super chats and then we're going to get on. But this is the biggest theft ever in modern history. And they're going to steal more money from us next year. They're going to say, hey, taxes. Hey, Anomaly, you had, because if you want to be honest, I had the best year of my life. Maybe not literally. I mean, I had a nice year. I try to enjoy myself and be optimistic, but financially, I did better than I've ever done in my life. And now they're going to steal that money. Joe Biden's going to try to take 30%, 40%. Trump's going to try to take 20, 30%. You're stealing my money after this year. What did I get in return? I got treated like a slave. I don't think they deserve any money next year. Call me crazy, but I don't think they deserve taxes next year. But they're going to get them. I don't know. I don't think they deserve it. Alex K said, great work. This will never end. It's not going back to normal. It's Germany circa 1933. Unless we organize, unless we have constant protests and disobedience in real life, our common enemy is the state. Let's all unite in real life. God bless you. I agree. Ignore my comment. Let's do this, Anomaly. Let's fight. A lot of us are armed already. God bless you. Yeah, here's what I'll say. It's Christmas. God bless. I'm going to take some time off. I don't know if I'm really going to, because I always try to and then I get back at it. But I'm going to really figure out how to be successful, because I hear the backlash. Trust me, I argue with people. I apologize, but not really, sort of. I kind of apologize, but not really. I don't know. I got to think about if I really apologize or not, because I'm not trying to be mean to people, but they're like, Anomaly, be scared. Anomaly, it's fine. It's like, no, it's not. I'm going to think about what I could really do, because I've heard the backlash. We want solutions. We want this. I hear you. And I've had some, but we have to be realistic with what we can do. If 10 million people are listening to us or 80 million aren't, that's what it is. I can't cry about it and complain about it. So I got to figure out exactly what it is, and we'll do that. And I'll tell you what. I don't know if you guys know Ali of Stop the Steal, but he's done a really good job of getting millions of people in the streets to try to stop the steal. And I think that's fine. I think the fact that people are pissed in some form is good. I'm going to talk to Ali, and I believe, I don't know for sure, but I think after all this is over, I think he's ready to turn that into the anti-lockdown movement. I think he's pissed too, but they're focused on Trump right now. I understand why, and I respect it, but we'll figure out what we could really do on a business level, on a country level. I'm already seeing places kind of stopping listening, but this is just my thought, and correct me if we're wrong. I know Trump listens to people. He sees it, and everybody's cheering him on right now. I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't think Trump deserves to be cheered on. And when I say to hold Trump's feet to the fire, I do it because if I thought Trump was just a bum, I wouldn't even talk about him. I'd be like, he's clearly not. But here's the point I'm trying to get to. Trump, he wants a good legacy. I'm not going to say he's got an ego, but he wants to win. Trump's a winner. Trump wants to be loved. Everyone loves what he's doing right now. I think if 100 million people or 10 million people went to Trump and said, Trump, you're a puppet of Bill Gates. Trump, you're doing the bidding of the New World Order. Trump, you're not doing any. Your legacy is ruined unless you do something in the next month that's better than this. That's what I want to see, and that's why I'm doing it, because it's like I know he has people on his team follow me. That's my message. I like him. He did good the first 3 years. This year he sucked, and I think he needs to hear that. So he's motivated to do it, because right now I think he's motivated to sell this Moderna vaccine. He's around all his pharma buddies, and he's like, "Yo, I'm going to be the Operation Warp Speed guy." No, that's ruining your legacy. I think he needs to hear that. So, I think he's movable. I think he's somebody that's more loose than anybody we've had. So we got either a month left or 4 years and a month left, but I don't have another day to wait. Someone said you're being selfish if you're worried about where you're going next. You have a platform, use it. Well, I'm not selfish. I'm just saying I want to think about what I'm doing, especially if it's a call to action. I take this seriously. So I'm not going to do something stupid or tell people to do something stupid. I'm not being selfish. You just got to think about things sometimes. And also, there's only, what do I want to do? I have to think about it. I'm not being selfish. I don't rush into things. But in general, I told you, I think what we could do from our computers in a peaceful manner, outside of all the other things we could do, just demand freedom from everyone. Everyone needs to hear what losers they are. Don't say you're the best, you're Abe Lincoln. Say you're a loser until you get our freedom back. You're the worst. You're worse than Obama and Bush. Bush sucks. Obama sucks. Trump infringed on more liberties than both of them. He needs to hear that. So who wants to go down as a president who's worse than Obama and Bush? Maybe that'll be like, oh man, I got to do this thing. I think that will get them in order. That's what I think, but I don't know. I think that's something we could do that's easy and simple, but it takes enough people. Free Please said, truth will win. Honestly, I believe the truth will prevail. And I know you have friends and supporters in Tennessee. You're on the right track, bruh. Appreciate you. God bless you. God bless Tennessee. Kelly Harshman. And shame on the Republican governor from Tennessee shutting things down again. Shame on Republicans for doing that. Someone said, I've had COVID wished upon me for opening our biz. Whenever you find yourself on the side of majority, it causes time to pause and reflect, said Mark Twain. God bless you, Madeline. And I try to go hard because it's sick what they're doing to business owners, to kids, and people trying to feed their family. I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. I'm sorry. Someone said you're not selfish. Well, whatever. I mean, people can say what they want. I'm gonna read two comments on YouTube. The one says you're a true freedom fighter, and the one says you're weak, you are less than nothing. So mixed review. But first of all, I want to say this: like I can't do everything, but in general, I do news analysis. So I'm not overly prideful, but I'm proud. If you look at my videos this year, I got over 100 million views or something. And I'm not getting 100 million views talking about myself, talking about how cool I look. I'm getting 100 million views from the very beginning. March, April, May. I was averaging 8 million views a week, folks. Everywhere I go, people recognize me. I can't go anywhere. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's that big. And people aren't looking at me like, oh, I like you because you look cool or something. They're like, Anomaly, you do great reporting. Thank you for telling the truth. So I'm not a do nothing, okay? I did the job that CNN and Fox News were not doing. I did the job that TPUSA was not doing. None of these Republican influencers told people the data and the information and the truth early on, not to scare them, to make them not scared, to say, guys, this is what they're doing. This is how they're rigging the numbers. This is what they're doing with the testing and the ventilators. And I did it, all that stuff. I'm going to make a greatest hits of this year. I'm proud of the reporting I did. So even outside of the physical realm, I'll take it there. I've gone to protests, but I'm supposed to be a reporter. So that's a big part of this. Fake news controls the minds of the masses. If I can be the opposite of fake news and free the minds of the masses, that right there is a huge service. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, it's like, what are you doing? I mean, has anyone ever gotten to the top 10 list of most shared posts on Facebook outside of a major network? I don't think any single person has. I don't think one single person has. Every other person on that list, from Shapiro to Trump to CNN, I'm blowing past 99.9% of corporate news networks by myself with no team. I think that's a world record. Give me a Nobel Peace Prize, except for I don't want it, because usually you get a Nobel Prize when you're a sneak. So, I'm not trying to brag, but it's like, what are you doing? It's like a lot, but there's only so much one person could do. I could do more, and I could also do less. Someone said, God bless you, bro. I followed you for a long time. The only thing that will change this corruption is armed force. I hear you. Have I ever thought about moving to South Dakota? Absolutely. I've thought about it. Someone said, governor lifted all restrictions here a couple of months ago, but I'm ready for America to be free again. The censorship breakdown is order and bad. Yeah, I hear you. Alfred said, you're not that big yet. I mean, I don't need to argue with you, but I'm saying this is YouTube. YouTube is not the biggest YouTube in the world. Facebook, 600 million views. I was ahead of the president of the United States, CNN, Fox News, all of them. So it's not a competition, but you're wrong. And I'm not like, I'm so big, I'm so special. I'm proud that what I was doing was good reporting. I was talking about Bill Gates in April. I was crunching the numbers of the World Health Organization. That's why I'm happy. If it was just a selfie of me, I don't care. I don't need attention. It's the message. It's the research. It's the work I did. It's the resume. That's what I'm proud of. And early on, no one else was really doing that much. A few people were, but not enough, especially out of the people who get paid billions of millions of dollars to do this stuff. Kelly said, you rock. I want to touch on a subject. C19 has nothing to do with CO2 remaining virus. I'm a nurse. I took basic chem and organic chem. You could tell me more about that. I'm unfamiliar with the term. Sorry. Michael said, they want to silence you, but the truth cannot be silenced. I always support you, and thank God you have the platform to speak on until they try to take it away. Thank you, Michael K. Yeah, I'm very grateful. Overall, I was listening to it's a book that really inspired me years ago. It's called Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. And, it's a very vibey spiritual book. And I was listening to it the other day, and it put me in a better mood, because it's just like, it's very yin and the yang, like the good and the bad and the bad and the good. It all goes hand in hand, where, you don't stand out unless there's a time to stand out. So sometimes God puts challenges in everyone's life. This is a big learning moment for us, so there's a lot of cons, but there's also, that's just the way the world works. It's like an ocean. So you got to ride the wave when it's there. And sometimes the really bad comes out so you can, do your job against it. So it put me in a better mood. Am I going to DC on the 6th? No, I don't want to. I don't feel like going. To me, I understand why people are going, but I don't feel inspired to go support a vaccine salesman. I don't understand how supporting a vaccine salesman is going to free this country. When 50 million people or 10 million people, they gather and they say, thank you so much for selling Bill Gates' vaccine. You're the best. To me, that's not really helping. What they should be saying is, they should be marching on Washington saying, end the lockdowns. Trump, if you don't do something in the next 20 days, you failed the country. You're worse than Obama and Bush at this point with our civil liberties. Either do something within the next 14 days, or you're going to go down as the worst president in modern history. That's what I would do if I was there. So I'm going to go there and celebrate a vaccine salesman and say, thank you for infringing upon the Second Amendment. Thank you for infringing upon the First Amendment. Thank you for not locking anybody up. Thank you for, instead of draining the swamp, hiring Pfizer executives, letting them shut down the country all year, letting Fauci and Birx destroy us and leaving the country in shambles. I have not. Why would I want to be to me, that's not helping. If people want him to win the election, I understand. I support that. But the fact that it's like somebody punches you in the face and you say, "Thank you, Daddy. Can I have another?" It's positive reinforcement for something negative. Trump has done a horrific job this year, and you're thanking him. You're like, "You're better than Abe Lincoln." So he's going around thinking he's better than Abe Lincoln. He's like, "I destroyed the country. I'm a pharma salesman. I'm doing the work of Bill Gates," and these people love it. He has no incentive to change. So I don't want to be there. I think people should be holding him accountable instead of celebrating him. The fact that this many libertarians and conservatives are celebrating this year just shows us why nothing gets done. It's not even just Trump's fault. It's our fault. There's nothing to celebrate at this moment. Like, wow, you complained about an election 2 months after the election. Why weren't they testing Dominion months ago? Why didn't you sue Dominion in June? Even Amy Klobuchar knew about it. To me, it's just a Roman circus. How do we distract conservatives for another month or two? And I'll tell you what, after January, there's going to be another thing that moves the goalposts even further. And they're going to take the conservatives again. You know why I know? Because they did it all year. I heard in March, don't talk about it. In April, trust the plan. In May, don't talk about it. In June, George Floyd. In July, George Floyd. In October, the election's coming. November, there's always another thing. So either Trump's going to win and he gets back in office and then we'll see what happens. And then everybody just drops their guard again. Or he loses and says, I'm going to run in 2024. And then instead of fighting for their freedom, everybody's going to be fighting for Trump 2024 instead of looking at their country. You get what I'm saying? I'm over it. So yeah, I don't understand why you're going to go in the streets and incentivize somebody who's literally destroying the country and be like, good job. You're the new Andrew Jackson. And he's like, I am. I'm Andrew Jackson. I'm the best. I'm selling vaccines. I passed the CARES Act. I locked the country down, but no one even seems to notice. So I think his supporters should be annoyed and be like, if you don't do something within the next 20 days, your legacy is ruined. That's what I think. Someone said, you're being here, I'm going to read this real quick. Doug, thank you. He said, you're being a selective supporter, one that throws a fit because they don't get one little thing. You think this year is one little thing, Doug? This is the problem with the cult mentality. Anomaly's throwing a fit because he doesn't get one little thing. Hundreds of thousands of businesses permanently destroyed. Millions of businesses permanently destroyed. One little thing. Hundreds of thousands of restaurants wiped off the face of the earth out of the United States of America. One little thing. A white lab coat takeover of the country while Trump doesn't fight them, employs them, hires Pfizer executives, pays them money months ago, and rushes their mRNA vaccine through safety trials while we're being held captive and does the bidding of Bill Gates. One little thing. Is that what people really think? Is that how much you guys like Trump? Did they brainwash people like the left wing? I think they did. Because this is one little thing. The bump stock, all right, he infringed upon the Second Amendment, right? That's one little thing. Shut up, guys. The anti-Semitism bill, anomaly, shut up. That's a small thing, one little thing. Okay, yeah, Second Amendment, First Amendment, not important, whatever, I get it. It's small, one little thing. I shut up. This year, you think this year's one little thing? I'm sorry. Someone got control of your brain. This is not one little thing, folks. This could not possibly be a bigger thing. This year is the biggest thing ever. This is potentially bigger than World War II. Yes, World War II. I'm not talking about Hitler and Stalin. I'm talking about America. We fought, people died. It's horrible. It's terrible what happened in World War II. But people went to war and then people stayed home. This is a war on your turf, folks. This is like if World War II came to your country, enslaved your own people on your own land, shut them down, and let a bunch of white lab coats who hated the people there destroy the joy and the smiles and the families and the schools and the children. This is even bigger than that. That's a war. People died. It's horrible. I'm not justifying it or saying that but this is on your own soil. War on your own soil. If you think this is a small issue, there's something wrong with you. Lillian said, I think you were paid off to keep your channel. Who do you think paid me, Lillian? Paid me what? Paid me to tell you the truth? You think this is profitable? I mean, I can make anything profitable because I'm good at what I do. So people respect the truth because there's not very many people that they don't cut cloth like this anymore, Lillian. They don't make them like me no more. But in general, this is not the easy thing to do. I can make a much more money just saying MAGA, 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 going to, CPAC and getting $1 million of donor money. So I could say MAGA, 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 let's go start wars for Israel. I could get that big Zionist donor money very easily, actually. And that's one of the ways I get censored on the right wing. They don't want me to say that. So what part of this do you think is like, oh man, who paid me off? Why don't you ask the other question? Why don't you ask, why is Donald Trump doing the bidding of Big Pharma? Do you think it's a bigger possibility that he got paid off or he got some sort of deal or that I did? What deal? Who's going to pay me to say what I'm saying now? Open up the country? Are people that brainwashed where they're like, anomaly, this is one little thing. Somebody paid you to believe in freedom. I mean, when Trump locks down the world into slavery, I mean, it's okay because it's like, are you joking? People are brainwashed on the right wing. They've just decimated the minds of people this year. I mean, they destroyed the left wing and then they brainwashed the right wing and said, you like Trump, run off a cliff and don't pay attention to what's going on. It's really sad. Hold on. I just got a little spill. Hold on. Let me move my headphones. Mystic Melody said it's not a celebration. It's a protest to show everyone in Congress that we want them to take a stand against election fraud and stop it. Everyone should support that. It is you're celebrating President Trump and you're placing the blame on only Congress. You're saying, we want you to do something about election fraud. Why didn't you do this about the communist overhaul? Trump's in on it. McConnell's in on it. They're all in on it. So what is you sitting in January saying, we want you to do something about election fraud? You know what you might as well be saying? We don't even notice the communist shutdown. We don't even care about the vaccine shilling. We like it. We want more of it. We want the guy who did it to come back. This is a threat to no one. I'm sorry. They're laughing hysterically at you. They're like, these people are not even going to protest the lockdown. These people are not even going to protest medical tyranny. These people are going to run around the carousel for another go round. I'm not interested to shill for a vaccine salesman. If you guys want to protest the lockdown, let me know. If you're protesting the election, I don't care. Someone said, can you read this ad on the Steel? I mean, not this moment. I'm not going to click on the link. Howard Super Chat said mRNA vaccines are not vaccine. Google the definition of vaccine and stop calling it. 10-year registered nurse, 1-year master nurse practitioner. Well, if you listen to my full videos a lot, when I make the definition, they call them mRNA vaccines. Yeah, you can call them mRNA synthetic therapy. I mean, you can make up another name. They're calling them vaccines. They're not explaining to people that they have mRNA in them. I am. So I'm sorry that it bothers you that I call it mRNA vaccine. I get it. It's technically not a vaccine, but it's mRNA. Why don't you do a super chat to Trump who says vaccine, 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 and 95% of his supporters don't even know there's mRNA in it? I think that's the big issue. As far as Pfizer's calling it an mRNA vaccine, Moderna's calling it an mRNA vaccine, Trump and Fauci, they're not saying anything at all. So, I tell people to do their own research. What do you want me to call it? The mRNA googly boo, poopity poop. Someone said 600 police were murdered at the beginning of the Bolshevik Revolution. Yeah, if that were to happen today, people would be like, Anomaly, who paid you to report on that? Anomaly, I know that they just did that, but we're going to go to DC and literally say nothing about the shutdown. If you shut down the country, I remember when I was watching the shutdown, I was panicking, not really freaking out, but I was like, I felt sick. I was like, 15 days of shutting a business down. Do you know what 15 days of shutting a business down does? 15 days shuts out most business. 8 months of capacity laws that span all 50 states, folks, and you're going to go to Washington, D.C. and not even mention it? I don't want to be there. 15 days destroys most companies. 15 days destroys most small businesses. Most restaurants have already been wiped off the face of the earth. And you're not going to DC to say, bring our restaurants back. You're not going to DC to say, lift off these restrictions. You're going to DC to say, I'm going to throw a fit over a vaccine salesman who's part of the Great Reset, who's done nothing to stop it, who's shilling for Bill Gates' vaccine, who yells at people like Thomas Massey who tell the truth about this scam. That who's afraid of you? It's a Roman circus. You're not helping the country. That's fine. You want to cry about the election? They're laughing hysterically at you. You can't stop it. Sidney Powell can and Giuliani can, but they're not going to. Maybe they can, but maybe they could have done it, I don't know, 10 months ago. They didn't know about Dominion. They didn't know that Mark Zuckerberg was getting it. They knew. It's the same thing as everything. All they do is run you guys in circles. Oh, big tech is bad. Duh. Did they do anything about it? No. They just played you like a fiddle. I'm going to lock them up tomorrow. Are they locked up? You got locked up. And you're not even protesting it. 8 months of Trump locking you up. Hillary didn't get locked up. You got locked up. Podesta didn't get locked up. You got locked up. The Gates Foundation didn't get closed. Restaurants got closed. And you're going to go to Washington, D.C. and say nothing about all of it. And you think you're fighting for this country? They love it. Someone said like Akon locked up. Exactly. Jordan said, chill, man. I'm cooler than a cucumber, bro. Someone said governors locked you up. Bro, just keep lying to yourself. I'll say it every time. Trump signed the emergency order. Trump called Thomas Massey a third-rate Republican when he opposed it. Trump signed the CARES Act. Trump's been in on the socialist communist stimulus bill. Trump is passing the Bill Gates vaccine. Trump shut down the country past Easter. He's been in on it the whole time. He's doing nothing to oppose it. He's opposing it in the same way he's opposing big tech, by doing nothing. Just tweeting about it. That's what he's doing. So only in your head, you're making up an alternate reality where Trump's fighting the lockdown. He's not fighting the lockdown. One of the biggest components of this lockdown, one of the most key factors to this, is the Moderna vaccine and the Pfizer vaccine. Trump is not fighting big pharma. Trump is not fighting the people doing the Great Reset. He's lining their pockets. He's putting them in high-level positions at the HHS, and he's their biggest salesman. That's what's happening. So if you want to tell yourself it's the governors, knock yourself out. Is it going to be worse under Biden? Probably. Am I going to get taxed more? Probably. Is Biden better than Trump? No, he's a cardboard box. Let me see. Do I have a cardboard box around here? You get it. He's a cardboard box. I don't need to show you one. You know what they look like. But does that mean that socialism and communism is good? Well, how do you get conservatives and patriots and libertarians? How do you get them to support socialism, communism, mask mandates, the removal of your freedoms in all 50 states, shilling for? How do you get that? You put a cardboard box next to Trump and say, you don't want the cardboard box, do you? And everyone says, no. I mean, of course not. This thing is disgusting. Look at Joe Biden. He's gross. So, and then you say, well, that's happening, but that's happening. And people's like, that's not happening. It's a big game, guys. Holly said, could you imagine if this happened under Obama? Yeah, if it happened under Obama, no one would put up with it. No Republicans would put up with it. No conservatives would put up with it. You'd have no excuses. You'd have no blaming the governors. You'd have none of it. Not a single Republican would be blaming the governors over Obama. They would know exactly who did it. They would call out the emergency orders. And that's why people think, who paid you? Not nobody. This is why people like me. This is why my stock doesn't go down when I go against the grain. People don't come here for the lie, the comforting lie. People don't come here for some basic reporter where you could close your eyes and spin a wheel and it could be 50 different influencers because they're all the same. They're like clones. That's not why people come here. So my stock doesn't go down when I tell the uncomfortable truths. I say the same thing I would have said before. Other people, they have no consistency. I'll give you an example. I was following someone. It was retweeted by Jenna Ellis, who's Trump's legal what is it? Jenna Ellis, the lawyer. She retweeted a GOP strategist who he said, the Democrat in Georgia was speaking with a Farrakhan supporter. So that was the headline. They were shaming this guy because he was speaking next to a Farrakhan supporter. So these are the Republicans that tell you we're fighting cancel culture. We don't like cancel culture. Cancel culture doesn't exist. We're fighting for free speech. That's what they tell you. And then they're trying to shame a guy for standing next to somebody who supports someone else. This is not only cancel culture. This isn't only guilt by association. This is guilt by association of association. It's 2 degrees of separation. Well, he supports somebody who supports someone else, and we're against that, so we're going to shame them. They're frauds. They don't believe in the First Amendment. That's why they pass anti-First Amendment laws. They don't believe in the Second Amendment. That's why they pass bump stock laws. They don't believe in freedom. That's why they're all marching for something else in January. These people are out for a buck. Who paid you? No one. Patreon, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. That's who pays me. No donor money, no business money, none of it, none. I'm one of the only influencers who's not paid. Why do you think I'm free to say what I say? You can't fire me because I hired myself. The only way I could fire myself if I smash my phone or something. Besides that, you're not getting rid of me because no one pays me. What is everyone else doing? That's what you should ask yourself. What are they doing? They're just doing what's popular. It's popular to talk about Farrakhan. Okay, you don't like Louis Farrakhan. Cool. But you're going to shame somebody because they're talking with someone who supports Farrakhan? They called Common, the rapper. He's like, ooh, Common supported Farrakhan. So is Kanye West and every other black person on the planet, because a lot of black people like Farrakhan, whether you like it or not. He did the Million Man March 20 years ago. So it's like Kanye West has a line about Louis Farrakhan in a song. Would you ever see a right-winger call Kanye West a Farrakhan supporter? No, because he's not a Farrakhan supporter. He's just a black dude, and Farrakhan's a black leader. So when you're big, you cross paths, and you say, what up? And you talk, and it doesn't mean you like everything Farrakhan says. It just means you know him, and he knows you. But that's what they do. When it's people they like, they won't say it. When it's other people, they'll try to cancel culture them because someone talked to Farrakhan. It's like, it's a big joke. They don't believe in anything they say. They're all about the cancel culture when it's convenient. Someone said, high impact. Do you agree with him more now? I wouldn't say I agree with him more. If you rewatch that debate, I don't really disagree with that much with Brian. I agreed with the same amount there. He just wanted to make the whole debate about, if we all don't vote, it's good. And to me, it still doesn't matter. I still stand by what I said. If you vote right wing, it's a slower path to hell. You'll save yourself some time, and that's the truth. And if you don't vote, whatever, that's fine too. But he was trying to say, if we don't vote, that's the solution. You're a horrible person. No, I feel the same exact way, but he just railroaded the debate for 3 hours and just kind of made a fool of himself. But if he would have had a normal conversation and debate with me, we would have agreed on like 95%. I agreed with him that day. He just didn't want to talk about that. He wanted to like derail the convo. So no, I don't. I feel the same exact way I did that day. And I've said this for a while. I just, I voted as opposed to not voted. Someone said voting doesn't send a message to the GOP, but whether you vote for them or not, here's the thing. You need to hold them accountable. The fact, and this is what I'm saying about January, 10 million people, you could say it's not a Trump rally, but it's going to be like a Trump rally. 10 million people are going to go to the streets and say, Trump, we love you. It's all Congress's fault. The truth is, it's Congress's fault and it's Trump's fault. It's both of their faults, but you're not going to, you don't fault Trump. It's only Congress, and it's not true. So you're sending the message to Trump that he's fine. Everything he did was fine. He's great. He's fighting for you. He doesn't feel any pressure. So you get what I'm saying? I still feel the same way. Whether you vote for him or not, you have to hold them accountable. They need to know if they don't do what you want them to do, that it's not going to work out for them. So whether you vote or don't vote, you have to hold the pressure to them. Someone said, who brings this upon us? They have a name, Z. I mean, you could just type it, enemy media. What's going on though? Someone said China wants our land. China's more free. I mean, they're having parties in Wuhan. And this is my thing too. people are like, who are you working for China? No, but here's my point. China, the virus came from, maybe, probably. It's more Trump's fault, Pelosi's fault. It's our own fault, our media's fault, our politicians' fault, and they're not all sold out to China. That's not true. Some of them are just sold out to everyone else. So it's like blaming China to me is a short-term solution. We have a president who's supposed to fight China. If he's fighting China, why is he not opening the country? Why is he not? If he could pass an executive order to take our freedom away, he can't pass an executive order to give it back. There's a lot that they could do. They just don't want to do it. Only in people's heads are they actually like fight. They're like, ooh, any moment now they're going to do it. I don't think they're actually trying. And I don't think they don't feel like they have to try because everybody loves everything they do. If you guys said enough is enough, that's the only way, in my opinion. But Joel said, you're a communist. I'm an anti-communist. This year is communism. You just don't want to admit it because Trump was involved. If you look up the Communist Manifesto, I have it here. I could read some of the stuff. I did it. Trump did a lot of the stuff, and it's already been done. Central bank is communism. We've already had it. When Trump shut the country down and forced certain companies to make ventilators, that's a communist move. I'm against that. I didn't like that. I'm a real capitalist, not a fake capitalist. I'm a real one. These people sell you socialism sucks t-shirts, and then the country goes full-blown communist. I'm the only one talking about it because I actually believe what you guys pretend to believe, and you call me a communist? No, the Republican Party was communist this year. The Democratic Party was full-blown communist this year. And even Trump was communist. When he shut the country down, passed all these acts, yelled at Thomas Massie, and steamrolled companies like Honeywell to force them to do ventilators, that's communism. He actually used leverage at a certain company. They said, I don't want to make it for that price. Trump said, you have to make it for that price. Because if you don't make it for that price, I have an executive order to force you to make it with my emergency order. So either you make it or you make it, bro. And they made it. That's straight up communist steamrolling a company. And I call it out and you call me a communist? It's a joke. It's like a team game for people. They think it's like Team Red. They want to go and take selfies with hot chicks at, Charlie Kirk's event. They're like, ooh, I'm anti-communism because I take pictures with the girls in bikinis. It's like, it's all a show for you. Someone said, I disagree with you. I don't care. You could disagree. I'm right. What do you disagree with? You can't even say what you disagree with because everything I just said was right. Trump did that. That's a communist move. I'm not a communist. That's right. I disagree with you. Yeah, because I just shattered your fake talking point. Someone said Trump is a nationalist. I'm not saying what he is in his mind. I'm saying when Trump shuts the country down with an emergency order like he did this year and forces a company to make a ventilator under an executive order that he's threatening them with, that's a communist heavy-handed move. You don't have to say Trump's a full-blown communist, but I talk about this stuff and no one, it's like, I don't actually want to, like, do you really want to oppose communism? Or do you just want to go to events and take pictures and say communism sucks and then communism comes from the country? I'm one of the only honest news analysts who says it. And you're like, oh, I don't agree with you because when you told me the truth about the communism, I don't like it. I just want to call you a communist, even though I'm a communist. It's like, yeah, I get it. I get the whole dynamic, but it's like, someone said Trump has fake advisors. I'm not saying whose decision it was. I'm not blaming. I'm just saying that's a move that goes more communist. It's like, what part of what I want to open the country? I don't like communism, but people like Trump more than they like freedom. It's bizarre. It's like they don't even want to admit he had any part in it. It's shocking. It's like the ship's sinking and people are like, oh, anomaly, how dare you want this ship to float? I mean, what are you, an anti-floater? And it's like, no, I want America to be open. That's the opposite of communism. I actually read, and this is the thing, most people don't even read it. I read the Communist Manifesto. First of all, Karl Marx, total sneak, total liar, not a good book, not a smart guy, obviously wanted total power. Communism is not this idea that people think it is. I know because I read it. It's not this, oh, we're going to share that. Like, you could tell just by reading his writing. You're like, he wanted everything. He wanted, I said it again, but abolition of private property. That's what they're doing with all this renting scheme and stuff. They're abolishing private property in restaurants. That's happening now. A heavy progressive or graduated income tax. This is straight out of his book. He's got 10 little talking points. This is America right now. Karl Marx, if you could show him America right now, gas tax, this tax, that tax, income tax, property tax, This is communism. This is like Karl Marx would have been like, oh yeah, this is the best. Even the Republicans, like communist light, and the Democrats are full-blown communists. Confiscation of property, centralization of credit in the hands of the state already happened. Centralization of the means of communication, they're working on it. Transport, they're working on it. It's like they have 5 out of 8 of these things already happening, and they're working on the last 3. Trump is better than Biden, yes, but what I'm saying is this isn't cutting it. I want to go the other way, but we don't have to get into it. You guys know. Someone said, peace out. I can't buy a super chat. Well, I don't know. I'm sorry if you can't, but I got it. Someone said, I blame the anti-dentites. I don't know what that means. Palestinian Christian says you're blind as a bat. Okay. I mean, you guys could say, like, when you guys get mad at me or whatever, this is an open forum. So you could say what you disagree with. I'll have a debate with you, but it's like, I don't agree. What don't you agree with? I don't know. The thing you said. It's like, what part? You don't know. You could say. Someone said, I don't think it's right to Monday morning quarterback the decision the president's made on the pandemic. No one on earth would have been able to make the correct decisions with limited amount of information. Here's the thing. It's not Monday morning quarterback, though. In March, it was a little confusing. In April, I hold it to this. When he shut the country down past Easter, he made the decision, not just the states. He was the leader of the free world. And he said, it's time to shut down again. And nobody questioned him. He moved it past Easter. I'm not playing Monday morning quarterback. I knew back then he was wrong. I knew in April he was wrong. I knew on April 1st, April 2nd. I said it every single day in April. He said Sweden's doing a bad job. I said, President, you're wrong. He was lying the whole time. You could read the data. It's like, Sweden is not doing that bad. He was lying all of April and May. I'm not doing Monday morning quarterback. I knew it back then. Now it's 8 months in the future, and he's still lying about it and pushing out a Moderna vaccine. He's been a nightmare this year. He's been terrible. So it's not Monday morning quarterback. I gave him a pass for the election. I said, listen, I get you need optics, win the election or lose the election, whatever, and then start being a real person again. He won/lost the election. We don't even know yet. And then he just got worse. So he has no excuses anymore. It's not Monday morning quarterback. I knew this the whole time. And I'm not like a super wizard genius. It's not that hard to figure out if you really study it. Most people are working and stuff. I don't blame everybody who has a job. This is my job. So I study the stuff like everyone in his advisory should have. And I'm not that great at math or science. It's really not that difficult. He's got dozens of advisors. Someone said, you called me a communist. You called that. Now you're playing the victim. You called me a communist. I said Trump did communism. Then I called you a communist. And now you're crying that I called you a communist. You started it. I ended it. It's like a kindergarten fight. It's okay. Someone said, what about the Bethlehem Star today? I don't know. I read all sorts of stuff on Twitter. Some people are saying that they're going to have superpowers today. I don't know. Let me see if I have superpowers. Hold on. Oh, it's the 21st, folks. Whoa. Guys, I have... The rumors were true, folks. Everybody gets superpowers. You could jump 1,000 feet in the air like you were on a tramp. I'm just kidding. Don't try that at home. Yeah, no, I don't know. Isn't there supposed to be some like crazy? They're like, trust the plan, folks. Today you could jump even higher than you normally can. Coddington Bear said anomaly superpower spinning truth. God bless you, Coddington Bear. God bless all the bears. God bless you guys. Merry Christmas. A lot of crushing going on in that department. God bless Mountain Bear too with the fantastic animations. Always gets a shout out. Last time I talked about Mountain Bear, I went on like a Dome Earth rant by mistake, and then it got put on like a Dome Earth channel, and they photoshopped a flat Earth picture behind me. I was like, how did that happen? But it's pretty funny. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna take this off so I don't hurt myself. Sorry, folks. Enough fun and games. Someone said, trust the plane. I agree. I agree. Listen, I don't want to get into that right now. We got so much going on. I got my hair cut finally. I'm going to shave it all off next year. I think I'm going to grow it out and then shave it off and give it to somebody. But it's not even like a fashion statement. It's just like the world shut down and I can't get it cut. That was kind of the dynamic. Do I believe in evolution? Do I believe in evolution? I mean, maybe among certain animals, they learn certain tricks, but like straight up Darwin evolution, no, not really. I think like elements of it are true. Like I learned to jump really high and I have a different color to hide or something. Like maybe you learn that. But as far as like, do I think humans came from like chimpanzees? I'm not, I don't know. I don't know about all that. I'll watch Neil deGrasse Tyson. Make sure I watch Neil. He'll teach me the science. I'll learn for sure this time. Holly said, I'm not feeling great about 2021. It's going to be a total shit show, but I feel good about it for some reason. I hate to be a downer, but I'm actually excited for this election to get over. If Trump wins, I hope he wins. If he loses, it is what it is. I just want people's heads to get out of this election. I'm not trying to be mean, but like you can't let the country shut down for 8 months. I mean, you can, but at a certain point, like you better become self-sustainable or else you're going to die in like 5 years. I'm not trying to be mean, but you can't shut a country down for this long. So people don't even notice. Like, Anomaly, are you going to go to DC to talk about the election? No, because you guys are talking about, it's like they're spinning you in circles in like a year and a half. Whether Trump's there or not, these problems are all still going to be there. So either we solve them or we don't. It's like a giant never-ending goalpost. Like this election lasts for 4 years. It's like, dude, like, oh my God, Trump's going to run in 2024. It's like, no. Then all the Trump supporters are just going to wait until 2024 and they're just going to be like watching the country burn. I just want this election to be over. If Trump wins, great. He needs to drain the swamp. Everybody should be like, congratulations on the fantastic win. Now let's get to business. You know, we don't have another day to waste. Lock them up. Lock them up, folks. Lock them up. Okay. Hillary, lock her up. Biden, Hunter Biden, whatever. Do what you got to do. Pardon Julian Assange. Give him his Twitter back. He'll talk shit. I'll talk shit. I found out Julian Assange's wife follows me, or girlfriend. I followed her. Then I got nervous because I was like, let me unfollow her. Because if I follow her, she messages me. Then I'm going to get tracked by these intelligence agencies. I'm like, listen, we got some people in high places keeping their eyes out. I'm like, should I talk to him? Should I not? It's all good. Lock her up. Lock him. If he wins, lock him up, folks. If he doesn't, I'm locked up. Oh no. Someone said we can't wait 4 years. That's what I'm saying. I don't have another day, but so someone said people can't handle the truth. Some can. I mean, not everybody. I mean, we have fun here, but a lot of people, honestly, a lot of people get it. Sean Stryker said, Anomaly, my pal Charlene met you in Huntington Beach. We've peaceful means, still chat, block links. Don't rely on one person. We the people assembly. Well, God bless you and God bless Charlene. When I go to Huntington Beach, I meet so many great people and they all get it. I mean, there's always going to be people who get mad online and stuff, but when I meet people in person, everyone gets it. I talk to like pretty high level Republican people. I'm not talking like the highest level, but they follow my page. They get it. You know, like I think most people are good people. It's like there's this and that, but like most people are like, yeah, no, this is crazy. This is BS. Like, you know, we got it. We'll be good. Not everyone's full blown in the zone. You know, I had a QAnon account apologize to me today. One of these guys that was pissing me off, he said, Anomaly, he said something really nice, something like, Anomaly, you say things I don't want to hear, but I'm starting to realize it's important. I'm like, that was the nicest thing you've ever said to me, QAnon guy. I want to cry. And when I cry my tears cry out into a little Q. And then they just sit on the tissue and it says Q. And they say, oh. So it was like the nicest thing a Q account's ever said to me. They were like, Anomaly, I know we get mad at you all the time because we trust the plan, but maybe you're what we need to hear. I'm like, thank you, Q guy. Appreciate it. Someone said, bye, unsubscribing. Bro, why you announce it? Like, I don't care. What part of what I said made you unsubscribe? I don't care when people are like, oh, you're not who I thought you were. I'm like, clearly not. Clearly not. Someone said zombie mutation. Yeah, I don't know what this one is, but it's creepy. Ryan Dawson. Everyone always talks about him. I've only seen like one video, but Yeah, I don't know much about him, but he gets a lot of chats. How do you see the worst comments on him, Sam? I don't know. I got 2 streams going. So I have Facebook. There's still over 2,300 people here. So I'm just like, I see, someone said you're the mediator. I'm nice, but sometimes I get a little fiery. I need to calm down because some guys like, you called me a coward and a devil on my Patreon. I was like, oh, great. I called someone on my Patreon a coward and a devil. I didn't mean to be, but he's like, Anomaly, what if we just chill out and wear masks? I'm like, no, and I freak out. And then I was like, let me calm down. But with the one Q guy tried to challenge me to a debate. I was like, I'd love to. And then he didn't want to debate. He's like, I'm a super secret guy, so I can't debate. We can only do text debate. I'm like, who are you, bro? And they're like, Anomaly's trying to expose. I'm like, no, I don't know who this guy is. And then I'm like arguing with them, and he's like saying this. I'm like, bro, you're a fraud. I was going at him. I was pissed last. I'm like, you're a freaking fraud, bro. You're brainwashing all these holistic moms. And then they finally backed off me. I'm like, leave me alone. Someone said, I didn't know you were so funny. I love the sense of humor. I'm pretty funny. I mean, I don't want to, now it makes it not funny. The fact that I'm saying I'm funny, I lost a step there, but I have my moments. Newsmax said they wanted to sign me to a contract, and then they got too big, and now they're, I don't know what's going on, but it's like, listen, I need $1 million a day. That's how, no, I'm just kidding. But they were like, here, I was looking at the contract. I was like, what is this? This is too small. Someone said David Nino Rodriguez supports Trump. I love David. I mean, listen, folks, most of my friends support Trump. I'm not just hating on Trump or Asher. Like, I hate Trump. He's the worst, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying my strategy is this year sucked. He hasn't done enough. I want him to know his legacy. And this is not even really it's like his legacy is like make or break right now. I want him to feel the fire like Michael Jordan, 4th quarter. Are you going to pardon Assange? Are you going to drain the swamp? Or are you going to be the swamp? It's up to you. It's like, what do you want to be? He could be anything he wants to be. Trump doesn't care what I say. So I like David a lot. Most of my friends love Trump. Every time I go to, everybody likes Trump. The people who are going to save this country are Trump supporters. That's why I'm a little meaner. It's not because I hate you. It's not going to be liberals at this moment. What are liberals going to do besides like confuse your children and try to say like pedophilia is not real? They're not doing anything. So it's going to be MAGA. That's why we need to have a move. We'll get a move. We'll do a crossover. Someone said Celebrity Deathmatch 2020, Antifa versus QAnon. That would be an interesting one. I mean, QAnon wouldn't show up though. Q wouldn't show up. They'd be like, Trump has a plan to beat Antifa. We'll just sit behind our computers. And Antifa would show up, and then like Q would just send like Sidney Powell or something. That would be a funny one. Someone said Snowden. Yeah, I'm curious how come Snowden gets away with it? That's what I'm interested in. How come Snowden gets away with it, and how come Julian Assange doesn't? I don't know. Hooplo Bear said you didn't read mine. What did you say? I'll scroll up. I'll try to find it. Someone said you haven't read any of the 4,500 drops, but then you act. Bro, I can't anymore. He said, you haven't read all the 4,500 drops, but then you act like you understand anything it says. Bro, I'm not even going to respond to that, but thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm done. I'm done, folks. I'm done. Go back on BB. You could hit up Owen. If Owen wants to have me on, I'd love to chat with him. I've seen now that somebody started posting his feeds to BitChute and like YouTube again. So I've been seeing him more because I'm not unauthorized. So to me, his Zoolander video is one of the best videos of the year. So yeah, I'd love to chat with him. I've got to see a few because they put him on BitChute. Someone said free Snowden. Yeah, I like Assange better, but free Snowden, free Assange, free Lil Wayne. If Trump pardons Assange, Lil Wayne, and just arrest somebody, just arrest one person. That's all whatever. Just like, Dr. Birx, Dr. Birx, like, what did I do? And he's just like, go to jail, drain the swamp. And you're like, oh my God, Trump arrested Dr. Birx. One thing. I just want one thing. Pardon Assange, pardon Lil Wayne, and arrest Dr. Birx. That's all. Thank God I'm not that famous. I'm glad that I'm not like mainstream. I can get away with this stuff, or else the headline would be like, Anomaly, social media influencer tells Trump to arrest Dr. Birx. She's violating guidelines, destroying businesses. I don't know. What do I think of Tim Pool? I think he's Tim Cool. No, I don't know. I mean, he's cool. I would go on Tim Pool's show, but he lives in the middle of nowhere, so I don't know. They're like, the last time I talked, someone texted me, they're like, you got to sleep over Tim's house to be on the show. I was like, I'm not 10 years old. I don't know if that's true, but I don't know. I'm considering hitting them up and trying to get on Tim's show, but I don't know. He lives like in the middle of nowhere. I don't feel like driving out there. I'm not lazy, but I don't want to do all these things. People are like, come here, go here. I'm like, I don't want to. What time is it there? It's like 12:30. So the anomaly doesn't want to be Lil Spoon. Jorge, that was funny. E. Michael Jones. Yeah, I wanted to see his recent debate. I haven't seen it, but let me see. Someone said Tim Pool supports the vaccines. Yeah, I mean, I try not to be a hater, but like, the Shapiros and the Tim Pools, I don't know. They're not my favorite because they'll be like, get the vaccine. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not anti-vax, but it's like, have they explained what's going on with it? Whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Everyone's got their thing. Some people got pros and cons, and I don't really follow Tim that much. I don't know what his stance is on the vaccine. But whatever. Doesn't matter to me. Someone said I only support OnlyFans. Do you have one? No. But I heard that it's good infrastructure. Someone said, why is MAGA crowd so obsessed with pushing degenerate pop culture and corporate Hollywood created smut? I don't know. I mean, TPUSA is getting dragged because they're having like bang energy, like chicks in bikinis and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but I think they're trying to be trendy or something, and some people like it, some people don't. But my problem is that the right wing, it keeps moving left. I think that's the problem people have. And the only group that seems to really be able to identify it in politics is like the America First crowd, where it's like, if you guys want to get trendy once in a while, whatever, but the Overton window is like way too far left. Like our country's too far left. I feel like, I don't know. If they can end the lockdowns, I'll let them do the bang energy thing, but they can't seem to really do that much. But I'm not going to blame them, but I hear what you're saying. I don't know. They're trying to be hip and cool. Someone said I say Lil Wayne deserves a pardon before Snowden. I like Edward Snowden. He makes a lot of sense when he talks. I don't know. I like Assange more though. And I like Lil Wayne. I mean, I'm sure I get it. Edward Snowden dropped the files, helped America, whatever. But did he drop no ceilings? Did he ever drop 6 foot, 7 foot bunch? Did he ever make a song called Lollipop? I don't think he did. So I think Edward Snowden's pardon needs to be put on hold. And we need to free Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne came out and supported Trump. The next day, they're putting him in jail for a gun charge. It's like, leave him alone. Someone said Lil Wayne did nothing wrong. His problem is he just had too many hot tracks. He said Black Lives Matter. One of the best interviews ever. He walks out on, was it NBC or CBS? I don't know. He walked out and was like, they were like, Black Lives Matter. He's like, what? I don't know what that means. And she's like, don't you care? And he's like, I'm a gang member, ma'am. And he's just like cursing off the media. I was like, this is fantastic. He never took the Black Lives Matter debate. So they threw him in jail. All right, a couple more minutes and I'm going. Someone said, seems anomalies low in tonight. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're trying to say. Did I ever talk about The Alchemist, the book, or like a literal alchemist? I'm not sure. Lil Wayne for president. I don't know if he should be president, but. All right. Someone said I like Tim Pool, but yeah, I don't want to dunk on Tim Pool today. I mean, I don't really watch that much stuff that he does. He's got a really good business model. I think, he's a good businessman. He gets the headlines. He does a lot of videos. He gets a lot of ad revenue. You know, he's built his brand very big. It's not easy to do. So, you know, I don't want to dunk on Tim. He talks to a lot of people. He has open discussions. Maybe we could chat sometime. Maybe not. All right, read a few more. What's your thoughts on Nick Clegg, the VP of Facebook? I don't know much about that guy. Not a Dodge. I just don't know who that is. I'll read your comment, Jason. He said, moved it past Easter. You're trying to bring it back to this. Moved it past Easter. Why the anomaly? Because he wanted, or because he was getting pressure from a lot of people, including half the country and his peers, to do that, plus re-election to rely on it. Well, here's the thing. I understand election optics, but in 2016, I think his best asset was he didn't care about optics. He just said whatever he wanted and people loved it. In 2020, yeah, I hear you. He might have done it for election reasons, but here's the thing. Here's what ended up happening. He's having trouble with the election. He tanked the country. So where do you draw your line? If you say it's okay to ruin 100,000 restaurants because you need to win an election, and then he doesn't win an election, and then after the election, when he doesn't have to do these optics anymore, he's still shilling and he's still not doing anything, that's where I draw the line. You get what I'm saying? I understand optics. That's why I backed up for a few months. I understand that half the country wants him to do this. They want him to do that. But Trump is best, in my opinion, when he goes with his instincts. Trump's instincts are killer. He's like, no, let's not shut down. And then they say shut down. Then they cost him the election. Then after the election, he has no more excuses and he still doesn't do it. So it's like, I get what you're saying, but I think you just really want to make excuses for him. Thank you, Leland. You know, I hear you, but it's like, okay, so he killed 100,000 businesses for optics and it didn't even work. And now he's still not doing anything about it. Like, at what point do you stop, you know, making excuses? Someone says, should we form protests? We'll talk about it here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because I'm going to try to take a break and enjoy my family for Christmas. But I have an interview on if you want to watch it, it's going to be on Tuesday with Ian Smith. If you guys know who Ian Smith is, he's the gym owner who went viral from New Jersey because he's not shutting down his gym. I'm doing a live stream with him. I'll put it on YouTube and Facebook, and it's going to be on Instagram Live as well. He has a whole website. So this is first things first, businesses need to open. So he's got a whole website with a database of how to open your business, resources. I'm going to work with him with exposedlockdowns.com, figure out a way to merge that and get people the information on a personal scale of what you could do to fight that. So that's first things first, is we got to get business owners to just open. Because even a protest, like we protest in Huntington Beach sometimes, it moves the needle a little bit, but not that much. You know, you need to get to the businesses who are closing too early. And a lot of businesses are starting to open because they're losing money and they're, you know, it's a group thing. So like if you're strong, someone else could be strong. If they're strong, that like there's multiple ways we can do it, but I'm going to try to figure out a way that makes sense for sure. But Christmas wise, I'm going to recalibrate, and I'm going to ask you guys too. Next year, I want to figure out really which direction I want to go. I like what I'm doing. I'm going to still do it. But I'm wondering, should I do a show like every day? Should I do a podcast as well? I want to make sure if you watch my video from a year ago, it's worse than my videos from a month ago. It's constantly gotten better, in my opinion. So I want to keep getting better and keep getting more effective. I don't want to get stale on you guys. And the Facebook thing threw me for a loop. Because, you know, I made my videos a certain way for Facebook. The reason I make those square videos, if you guys notice, I do a lot of square videos that look virally on YouTube. I did it for Facebook because they would get between 200,000 and like 10 million views per video. So I would just crank them out. They were effective explaining stuff. People shared them a lot. Now that doesn't work as well, but it works good on Instagram. So I'm always trying to figure out what my next play is. We'll figure it out. Candy said, you should go big. President 2024, wake these fools up. Get our freedom back. We love you. Come to Louisiana. Well, God bless you, Candy. Yeah, I don't know that I want to be in politics. I mean, maybe eventually, but I think, to me, the media controls a lot. You know, culture controls a lot. If I can help flip that or help make that better, To me, that's what I enjoy doing. I don't like politics. I don't like the people. No offense. I mean, I do like some of the people, but it's not a place I want to be. I don't like Washington, D.C. I find it really the worst. I mean, there's good people there, but I just don't like politics. I don't really want to be involved. But I feel like there's other ways to help. Someone said you have to be corrupt to be a politician. It's tricky because if you really understand, if you really want to know how it works, like, I have some friends in higher places, but in order to win a race, you need a lot of money. If you don't have enough money, you're going to get blown out. So you need money. And then how do you get the money? If you can't raise it yourself, you got to go through donors. If you go through a donor, usually they want something in return. So it's a tricky world. By the time you get to where you want to be, it's very difficult to be authentic. There's people who do it and it can be done. It can be done, but it's a very ugly world, I think, but everything is. I'm actually very grateful to do what I do because although social media is kind of bullshit with the censorship, I'm pretty free to do what I want because I don't work for a corporation. Anytime you work with someone else, I've been censored not just by the left wing, by the right wing. That's why I work by myself. I'm a team player, but I don't like to be played. So if somebody's going to censor, play games, like I don't need to play games. I got my microphone, I got my cell phone, I got my computer. I paid for it in full myself. I paid for my own bills. I enjoy it. I like that. I'm grateful to at least have this at this moment. So that's what we're going to do. Someone said, can I ask you a question? Yeah, but now that you asked the question of asking the question, it's going to be less of a chance that I see it. Ooh, Stacy, that's a good burn. Stacy said on Facebook, oh, politics would be perfect for you, especially the way you're flip-flopping. Ooh, damn. That's a good one. I've said pretty much what I'm saying since April. I think you're flip-flopping, honestly. I think, but it's okay. Someone said, have E. Michael Jones on your channel. It would be tough. I mean, I talked to Dave. I think he works with Dave O'Reilly or Dave Riley, but I would chat with E. Michael Jones. Maybe a podcast format would be better because they've censored him on YouTube. I think he's still on BitChute, but they do this thing and they've done it to me with like Tommy Robinson. When they censor somebody, sometimes they censor all content from that person. So I'd be down to chat with E. Michael Jones. That's something that I'm interested in doing in the next year is trying to do a podcast. It seems like you can get away with more. And there's a lot of interesting people that I'd like to have on that I don't really talk to. So, have debates, have conversations. The reason I don't do it now, it's a lot of work and it doesn't really pay off. And I'm not even talking about financially. It's just like more work, but what I'm doing already is like working. So, sometimes like turning the curve, I don't know. I did a lot of debates. I hosted a lot of debates. Some of them were fun, but it was like so much work, so much stress, not that much payoff. So we'll see though. Someone said, no, you changed. I mean, if you really want to understand what I'm saying, if you look at this year, I'm gonna make it simple and I'm gonna move on. The Overton window always uses. They use Trump, they use Biden, they use people, they use Obama, and they crush the country. So under Trump, they're crushing the country. Socialism's not cool. Communism's not cool. None of what's going on is cool. And Trump's really not doing anything about it. So you should be, and I should be, telling Trump, this is not cool. Your legacy is ruined unless you do something about this. He's really, if you objectively look at what he's done this year and last year, he's infringed on the Second Amendment more than Obama. He's infringed on the First Amendment more than Obama and Bush. I mean, maybe the Patriot Act in some way, but he's let big tech spiral out of control. And this year he became like a socialist communist leader who doesn't seem to care that much about the lockdowns. He's not doing anything. You think he can't do anything? He could do something. He signed away a lot of this stuff. He could try to enforce it. He could lead people to do it. He's not doing it. So I'm looking for Trump after the election. I'm like, what moves is he going to make? I've given him the pass. I'm like, I voted for him. I told people I want to vote for him. He's selling Bill Gates' vaccine. He's selling the Moderna vaccine, which he worked with in January, bought in July and August before it was through safety trials, and now he's selling it like a snake oil salesman. So did I really change, or am I just admitting what a lot of people are afraid to admit, which is Trump has fallen short? Not only fallen short, not like slipped up a little bit, like really ruin this country and doesn't seem to have a plan for it. So it's like, I haven't changed. It's just like, at what point are you going to realize what's going on? This is evil. What they're doing to kids is evil. What they're doing to women is evil. What they're doing to old men and women is evil. Shutdowns are evil. Stimulus checks while they shut down the country is evil. Every state still having capacity laws is evil. A mask mandate on planes is evil. Trump funding the pharmacy industry as they're holding our country for ransom is evil. Did I really change, or am I one of the few people who's not afraid to do this? I'm not afraid to do this because I can do this. I could get away with it. I have videos that, of course, Trump helps me like he helps everyone. Trump is a media magnet. And for a while, defending Trump is the hottest thing to do because he's in many ways innocent and they're making him look guilty. So I defended Trump, not because it was cool or trendy, because it was the right thing to do. And it was accurate and it was fair. Now I'm not afraid to do this reporting because I have 10 million views on videos this year that don't even mention Trump's name, talking about cases and deaths and coronavirus. I don't need to mention Trump to get views. A lot of other influencers, no offense, if they don't like Trump, they lose their whole audience. If you don't trust the plan, if you have a Q audience, they'll try to look for you. They hate people who don't trust the plan. Like, they'll turn on you in a second. I don't have to be fake. I don't have to lie. I don't have to shill. I don't have to pretend like I like Operation Warp Speed. I don't have to pretend like I like socialism and communism. I don't have to ride Trump's coattails if he's doing the wrong thing. So I don't feel the pressure to do that, although some people won't like it because people come here for the truth. In March and April, a lot of people who follow me, yes, a lot of people like Trump because he's obviously, was crushing for a long time, but a lot of people found me because no one was doing the real reporting on coronavirus this year. So, I don't feel the need to satisfy what you want me to say because I'm not going to lose any sleep, and I'm probably not going to lose really anything. I'm sure I'll lose, followers, but I just gain more. And people who get mad at me for saying this, they won't unfollow me. It's shocking. I'm like, I say things on Twitter sometimes purposely to piss off people. And they don't leave. They're like, I hate you, Anomaly, but it's like, you like me because I'm the only one who tells you the truth. Everyone else is just this influencer who will just say anything to be cool and just make the same jokes about Eric Swalwell. That's not leading you anywhere. So it's like, you could unfollow me. No one's forcing you to be here. But a lot of people don't want to because they know you're not going to get it very many places. Tom Christoblopoulos said, my 23-year-old daughter, she has decided not to vaccinate her young family. She is concerned of the side effects 10 years down the road. I support her. Tom, God bless you. I did a lot of research last year for the first time on vaccines, and I've done even more this year. And when you find out that they have a safety act where they're not liable, it's very interesting. And when you see what they're doing this year, it's very clear that they're not even trying to figure out what's going on. They're just trying to shut up and silence anybody who talks about it. So I even find in right-wing circles, I'll give you an example. It's not popular to say what I'm saying right now. The only other person I saw doing this on a right-wing outlet was David Knight. He was doing it on InfoWars, run by Alex Jones, and he got fired from InfoWars. And Alex went on and said he was angry. He wasn't doing good work. He was burnt out. Alex is lying. I like Alex, but he was lying. David Knight was not burnt out. He was doing real reporting on Operation Warp Speed. He was telling the truth about what Trump did. And I think a lot of people who like Trump, they want to cut you off. They want to say, no, don't say that. You're a traitor. When I see it the other way, I'm like, if you don't care about socialism, communism, rushed vaccines, him shilling for Bill Gates, he's the leader. If he can sign an emergency order and sign away a bunch of stuff and sign all this stuff that puts things into place, he can do something in some way to counter the lockdown. He's just not. So, it's not popular to say this, but it's probably helpful. Monica said people are literally doing to you what they're mad at you for doing to Trump. They watch you but bash you, but they don't like what you say. Well, no, I don't mind. The bashing me doesn't matter. Hurting my I don't have these feelings about these things. It's just, I find it dishonest. If you say Anomaly, F you, I don't like you, whatever. If you say you're ugly or something, doesn't bother me. If you say Anomaly, that never happened, you're only lying to yourself. If you say you're flip-flopping because you are consistent with your values and I'm completely inconsistent, if you flipped Obama with Trump in March, I guarantee you can't prove this, but I would have been saying the same thing. I don't like Operation Warp Speed. I don't like the lockdown. Obama extended it past Easter. He signed the CARES Act. He's dissing Thomas Massey. I would have done the same exact reporting because whether it's Obama or Trump, I don't like what's going on. But that's the difference between other people. They think I'm a flip-flopper. I think they're a flip-flopper. I think because they like Trump so much, they're willing to ignore all of these things that would be egregious to them. If Obama did communism, that's egregious. If Obama did Operation Warp Speed, he's working with Bill Gates' backed companies to give $10 billion to Pfizer and all of these other pharma companies to get this out as soon as possible. Most people would not make any excuses for it, but they'll make an excuse when it's for Trump. So that just kind of shows you how, in my opinion, they control both sides. It's the cult of personality. If Obama, he's a cool guy. If he bombs Yemen or Syria or whatever, I don't even notice it because it's Obama. So, I mean, when Obama goes into Libya and just leaves an African country into shambles, that's fine because he just shoots a three-pointer. That's what the left did. And now the right's like, well, it's Trump, so it's okay. But to me, I'm like, I don't see it that way. I don't think it is. Johnny Supertramp said the vaccine is a synthetic mRNA retrovirus. Don't give in to the fear propaganda. I hear you. I'm not going to read it all, but thank you for the super chat. And all I'm asking is this, because someone said David Knight will have his first live stream tomorrow on Twitter. Yeah, he's doing a great job. And I'm you know me, I'm a hard sell. Everyone's like, who do you like? He's doing fantastic reporting, some of the best, and he got fired for doing it or for some reason. But in general, I don't want to tell people what to do or not to do with their bodies. I'll tell you what I'm doing. But in general, I want people to know, look up the mRNA thing. That's all because most people don't even know. I guarantee you like 90% of people, they don't even know it's mRNA. They think it's just a normal vaccine where it's got a little bit of Rona in it. It's like, it's not. It's a total. So I think people should be educated on it. What are they getting? If they want to get it, do the research, listen to Bill Gates talk about the side effects, research the Reagan Act of how they're not going to be financially liable, look at this year, and then make a decision. But, I think most people are not talking about that. I'll read this real quick. Someone said Jordan's the GOAT. I agree. Michael Jordan is the best. Jones said, I don't understand. I thought Trump doesn't have any say in the states on the governors, that they have full authority to make these decisions. Trump cannot say anything. Am I wrong? Well, in a way, you're wrong, because in order to launch all this off, and I've said it a bunch of times, and I know it goes in one ear and out the other, and people don't want to hear it, but I'll just repeat it really quick. In order to launch all this off, none of this is constitutional. Honestly, the Supreme Court should step in and could step in at any time. They're not. But Trump signed an emergency declaration in March, and when you sign an emergency declaration, the Constitution apparently goes out the window. So he launched all this. If he never signed off on that, this would never be a thing. And since that day, he signed off on the CARES Act. But it's not just that he's doing it. I would give him a pass for just doing it and understanding it's wrong. But to this point, he's never told the truth about it. That's the problem. So he gave away a lot of freedom. He signed off on the CARES Act. He bashed Thomas Massey for telling the truth about it. He's lied every step of the way about how Sweden and Brazil did such a bad job. Listen to Brazil's leader. Bolsonaro talks about the vaccines. Bolsonaro says, he's the leader of Brazil. He says, I don't want to get one because these companies are not liable. So hire Bolsonaro, or however you say it. He's telling the truth about the vaccines. I don't want to get it. These companies are not even liable. Trump does not tell the truth about the vaccine. He's a vaccine salesman. So in your head, Trump is doing everything he can to fight for freedom, and the governors are just tyrannical. In reality, Trump has been in lockstep with Gavin Newsom every step of the way. He's been in lockstep with Phil Murphy and Cuomo. He signed over the rights and gave them the thumbs up when they were doing it. He didn't fight the lockdown. He's since said Sweden and Brazil are bad. Why are Sweden and Brazil bad? Brazil's bad because they didn't fully lock down. And Brazil, its president tells the truth about Trump's vaccine that he wants to sell with Bill Gates. Trump's a salesman. So he's mad at them he's trying to pretend like lockdowns are good. It's not, he has a part in it. The governors have a part. But in no way, shape, or form is Trump really fighting hard against it. He's been horrible this year. People just don't see it because they like him so much. So are the governors responsible for a lot? Absolutely. Is Trump completely innocent and he just can't do anything because the governors are doing it all by themselves? No, that's not at all true. But, that's not what people want to hear. So in some ways, this is unpopular. And to others, this is music to their ears. It's people are like, finally, somebody's not lying about it. Anomaly, I want to see you on Joe Rogan. I would love to go on Joe Rogan. I just have to get invited. Did you hear Andrew Cuomo saying he can't legally enforce the lockdowns because they're unconstitutional? This whole thing is a joke. Yeah, I don't know what he can and can't do, but it's a lot of mind control. It's a lot of like psychological do what I say, and then people just follow. So. Someone said Trump can do an executive order to open their cities and cut federal funding. And that's the thing that I'm talking about. This is why Republicans lose, because people don't understand that there's moves that Trump can make. Gavin Newsom threatens all the mayors and says, I'll cut your federal funding. He has the right to do it. I'll cut your federal funding if you don't listen to me. Governor DeSantis doesn't do that. So Democrat mayors walk all over him. If Joe Biden or Obama was in office, they would be able to, threaten federal funds and people would fall in line. But when Trump's in office, apparently he can't do anything. He can only infringe on the First Amendment. He can't enforce it. He can only pass an order that takes away, but he can't give it back. None of this is constitutional. And there's a lot of moves he can make. But all I'm trying to say is I gave him the pass. People are acting like I flip-flopped. I was actually, if you follow my channel, I was pissed at him in April and in May and in June, and I backed off for a few months. Not to say you're completely innocent, you're doing nothing. I understand there's an election. And to be quite honest, I do understand that it's tricky because there's people who like him but are afraid of COVID. So I said, you know what? His true colors will show after the election. Clearly, he's better than Joe Biden. Clearly, there's some sort of chance that Trump will do something. And in my head, I would say there's close to a 0% chance that Joe Biden's going to do anything. Clearly, he's not the answer. So let's see what he does after the election. And after the election, he's just sold the Moderna vaccine and just talked about the election. So he's running people in circle. And if I look at this from a bird's eye view, I take my emotion and my belief and my, Trump shirts away from it. Really what's happening is Trump is selling Bill Gates' vaccine and he's running patriots in circle around the election. So now when patriots go to Washington, D.C., they're not protesting the lockdowns. They're not pissed at him for all these stimulus checks. They're not pissed at him or anybody for all these lockdowns. They're going there to protest the election. So to me, it just is like another little carrot that they're dangling to move the goalposts and just kick the can down the road. I understand the election's important, but I just, I don't know. I'm not interested in it personally. Someone said airlines are requiring the vaccine. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going back for Christmas. I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to try to have a good Christmas. I'm mentally and physically preparing to never be able to fly again. That's what I'm doing. As people told me all year, it's okay. Trump doesn't want to make it mandatory. None of this stuff matter. That's all just excuses because you like Trump more than you watch reality. They might not do anything, but in general, I think the airlines are going to enforce some sort of vaccine card, or they're going to shut down travel. The new strain is going to come, or it's here and they can't travel. They've destroyed this country. So any march that is not for opening this country is not of importance to me. It just reminds me of the Roman circus. Instead of fighting for your freedom, you're fighting for that guy. But that guy's not fighting for your freedom. So why am I going to run in circles around a guy who, when push came to shove for the country, not only didn't do anything, but actually did the opposite of doing something, which is funded and promoted the product of the people who did the lockdown in the first place. So, I think, I think vaccination cards and all this stuff on airlines, it's very possible. It could also not happening, but I'm mentally prepared to have to get a car. And if you want to be honest, it's going to be hard to find because they don't make them that much. I want a car off the grid. In the Communist Manifesto, one of the, Karl Marx's book of lies, but what he does tell the truth about is what he wants to do. He wants centralization of all communication. They almost have it. And transportation in the hands of the state. Karl Marx thought in order to control, he wanted 100% of control of all transportation. So you have to ask yourself, how will they control all transportation? Well, they already control the airlines. That's easy. Trains, that's easy. Cars is harder. That's why they're trying to phase out any car besides these solar cars. That's a control system. It's not just climate change, it's control. I want a car off the grid. It's very hard to get, but if I buy a car, I don't want a computer in it, but there's very few cars without computers in it. So when I buy a car next year, I'm going to look for like a 60s or 70s, like old, like Mustang or something. I don't know, something that holds up, because I don't want to be on the grid, but I might have to be. I don't know. It's hard to find a car off it. I'm going to read this. Andrew said this. I agree with this. Andrew Peer, he said, don't get me wrong. Trump has until 1/6/2021 to redeem himself. I agree. Trump has a month. It's crazy because I know a lot of people are like, you're better than Abe Lincoln. Before this year, I would say I agree, but Trump has a month, and I want him to feel the pressure, not in a mean way. I don't want him to think I can just do Operation Warp Speed and Space Force and I could leave and I'm a hero. No, I want him to feel like a failure unless he does something. He has a month. He can be a hero or he can be a failure. I'm not trying to be mean, but if he feels like, and I feel like he does, to be honest, because everybody likes him so much, I feel like he thinks I could do Operation Warp Speed for the pharma industry. I can do Space Force for my supporters, and I could just mosey out of here and they're going to act like I did a good job. I don't want him to feel that way. I want Trump to feel like if I don't pardon a few good people, if I don't try to reverse this lockdown or do something to set us up for success instead of him just handing the keys to Biden after he failed the country, I want him to feel like he has to do something, because I still believe in him. Not as much as the trusted planners, but I think he's a loose cookie. I think he's, this month, his whole legacy is coming down to this month. He either puts us on the right path of victory or he totally let us down. And I think he needs to feel that way, because he can't just leave like this. He can, but it's like, it's not, he did not leave us in a good position. So if he really cares about this country, he'll show us. I think, we'll see. Someone said Trump will drain the swamp. Get your popcorn. I've had my popcorn all year. I've had my popcorn stale. It's stale popcorn. I've had it since 2017. Everybody said big boom, big drop. Trust Barr, trust Sessions, trust Ray. I've had my popcorn. I can't eat it anymore. My popcorn has rats in it, so maybe. But I've been waiting. Have I thought about going on tour in the States? I think it would make a huge difference. Said Candy. Yeah, I'm talking to the lead singer of Trapped because we do shows together. He's got a big audience, a big crowd. He wants to do a tour next year for music. So if I did that, I got to figure it out, because I know a lot of people would want to hear me speak. I know some people want to hear the music. So I'll figure it out. Next year, it depends what the laws are, though. This year is a total joke. Everything's like shut down and stuff. But I'm thinking about it. I just don't know. Someone said, pardon Julian. I agree. And Lil Wayne. Someone said he failed to protect election fraud. I think so. I mean, this is the story of Trump so far. It's like, I'm tired. Like if this was just the election, trust me, I'd be fighting just as hard as everyone else. If only the election was going on, it's like, yeah, but there's a bigger story than the election that no one's talking about, which is the complete destruction of the Western world. It's planned, it's purposeful, and he's not stopping it. So you get what I'm saying? It feels like Section 230, where it's like, ooh, it's bad, and then they never do anything. Where were the Republicans? Why did they not do anything about Dominion? Why did they not have watermarked ballots? And, it's like, this is not that hard to figure out. I mean, it's kind of hard, but they didn't do anything about it. They fell short before the election, and now it just seems like another circus to me, like, like, ooh, we're going to catch him this time, and everybody runs in circles, and the country's just tanking. Every day Trump waits, businesses crush, small businesses and restaurants fail, and he said nothing about them. Like, he's so not an anti-lockdown leader, it's not even funny. Really, he's just holding a bunch of people back because they're fighting for him, and he's not fighting for us. That's how I see it. But someone said, you sound like you give up easy. First of all, your name says Hunter Biden. I know you're not really Hunter Biden, but I don't give up, but I don't worship communism. I don't worship warp speed vaccines. I don't worship a leader who does. He's failed me. I'm not giving up. He needs to feel like he's got to do something. This is unexcusable. I mean, I gave him every chance under the sun. I'm not giving up, but you're about to go to DC and fight for this guy who's fighting for Bill Gates harder than he's fighting for me. I don't feel inspired to do that. Mateo Strong said we should be spending our time and planning together unify Americans. I don't know how. Christmas it's good to take a break and it's good to think, but yeah, for sure there needs to be some sort of plan for the new year. But a lot of it's personal too. I think in general, if things go this direction, everybody has to think about what's going to go on. What can I do to be ready, or not suffer financially or keep my house, stuff like that, and then we can move forward. Someone said, why the Republicans aren't doing anything? I find it interesting. I think it's like a circus. I find it to be like a Roman circus where everyone's just running and no one's doing anything. So I have my suspicions on why that's happening, but I'm not as interested as I once was. Someone said, what if it is Hunter Biden? LOL. Yeah, it's probably not. Thank you guys for being here. It's very late. It's like 1 o'clock by me. It's like 4 o'clock somewhere else. We got over 2,000 people still. Pretty cool. Someone said, anomaly, what happened in 1871? The big club, BAR, took over the United States. 70% of Congress, BAR. 45 is not BAR. History, brother. Ask Paul Joseph Watson. I don't know what you mean by BAR, but if you could explain that. Someone said, anomaly, what's your suspicions? I just think it's a circus, really, at this point. Like, the reason I like Trump for so long is because he was doing things that he said he was going to do. He didn't do everything I wanted him to do. He made some moves I didn't agree with, but overall, I'm not an unreasonable person. If Trump does a few things I disagree with, I'm not going to cry about it. Like, okay, it's tough what he's doing. This year is not excusable, though. This destruction of America, it's bad. It's way worse than anything that happened in the first 3 years. So, what I'm trying to say is I go with actions over words. I didn't like Trump because of just his words, although I found his words very honest. And I think even having a president speaking that real is very valuable. So I found so much value in Trump. The first 3 years, it was like value, value, value. He's talking shit. He's ending war. He's doing that. He's doing pretty good. Well, he's doing too much for them, but he's also doing, like with the Syria thing, he did a good job. I think he pleased Israel, but he didn't just totally bomb Syria for Israel. He pleased Israel, but he also helped Syria out. And that was amazing. He rolled back. A lot of people don't give him credit on the progressive left, but Trump rolled back billions of dollars of secret funding to rebel groups, and that freed Syria. How am I going to disagree? So he was crushing the first 3 years. It wasn't just his words. I liked his words. I find his tweets hilarious. Sometimes he said shit I didn't agree with, but I found it very funny. And then he's executing. So I'm following his actions. His words are funny, but his actions, killing it. He's executing at like a 95% success rate. It's like, yeah, that was kind of bad, but whatever. This year is not that way. His words started turning into things I didn't agree with. His actions started turning into things I didn't agree with. And I knew it was tough, but he chose the path. I think, in my personal opinion, I think his instincts are good, but he chose the path of I'm the lockdown guy. I'm the vaccine guy. I'm going to defend it. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. So this whole year has been like his actions haven't matched. I mean, they did match his words, but I didn't agree with his words or his actions. So I'm not turning against him. I just don't agree with very few things that he did this year. Almost hydroxychloroquine, he head faked. And then I think Big Pharma told him, bro, we spent $10 billion on these vaccines. You better not tell people about hydroxychloroquine. And then he backed off and he sold Regeneron, which is a Big Pharma product. And he sold Remdesivir, which is a Big Pharma product. And then he sold Moderna and Pfizer, which are the big products. So, I feel like he head faked us a few times and then just kind of let the country burn. And I think right now he's concerned with Operation Warp Speed. And I think that's a total failure. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, I that's my suspicion is I follow actions. And I think in politics, there's a lot of head fakes. There's a lot of deception. And this year, I feel like we got built up and then they crashed us and not everybody noticed, but I can't not notice. It's pretty obvious. Someone said, I know how to become a Harley Davidson, LOL. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but that's fascinating. Let me see. Someone said we are watching a PSYOP. Oh, this whole year is a psyop, no question. It's all a psychological operation, and I think that's a bigger scandal this year. Is they threw this out, fear mongering, fear, left and right, divide. They have everybody scrambled. It's really sad, and we'll figure out what to do. We're going to be optimistic. We're going to make moves in 2021. Don't worry, folks, because this year we always had race. You know, a lot of foreign countries, regardless of what you think of race, like I'll give you an example. In my personal life, I like what the further right does, how they talk about racism. That doesn't bother me. I don't call everything racist. I think immigration, there's things that need to be talked about. But like, I'll tell you my day. I had a Lyft driver who was a white guy, and he kicked me out. He was like, you don't have a mask. He flagged me, made me late, and he was a jerk. And then I had this Muslim guy named Muhammad who let me not wear a mask. Fantastic guy. On a personal level, I like people for people. I like Muslim Muhammad more than I like the white guy. But at the same time, on a national scale, it's okay to talk about race and stuff. But in general, what I'm saying is, regardless of what you think in your personal life, race does divide people. People are tribal. So you have black people are tribal. Some white people are tribal. Other races, you know, Hispanics come here, they're tribal. A lot of them don't speak English. So a lot of foreign countries, they knew that the way to destroy America is through their diversity. You know, diversity can be a strength or a weakness. And they see it as, okay, let's turn George Floyd, black against white, left against right. So we're already very divided because most countries, like even like UK and stuff, it's mostly white, or in Africa, it's mostly black. And then when it's not, in South Africa, there's a lot of racial problems. That's just the way the world works. So we already have that going against us in the sense of we're easy to divide. The George Floyd thing can literally just turn the country at any point. Literally, all it takes is a police shooting. CNN covers it. This country can be Iraq in a second. That's how easy it is because of racial problems. They could turn Los Angeles, Minneapolis, New York, St. Louis into Iraq. Chirac is already Iraq. So it's like we've got that going against us. And now we have left and right. So you have half the people who are left, now you have COVID-19. So you have this new psyop that, for instance, I have family members that love Trump, but they don't like COVID and they're so afraid of it. So now you have this new thing that's tearing families apart. Not all, but a lot, ruining Christmas. This is like the most evil psyop ever, you know? And yes, it's a virus, but you don't act this way just because there's a virus. I mean, this is a sick way to live. So they figured out a way to just kill America. So I understand people like Trump, but he's not doing anything about it. He's really not. He's like defending the lockdown. Every once in a while, he says something about it. He's pushing the vaccine. Maybe he has a plan, but if his plan involves letting 100,000 restaurants die, it's like, this plan sucks. You know, like this is not the right plan. So, you know, I think we, the people, need to make a move in 2021 because we definitely got psyop this year. No question. And when it comes to Trump, I mean, people are talking about Trump. The first 3 years, he did a good job to get everyone involved. And listen, I want to be respectful because if it wasn't for Trump, even the people who hate him, a lot of people got involved because of Trump. A lot of people became more right-wing because of Trump. A lot of people learned a lot of stuff because of Trump. But I feel like with certain movements like the Q and the Trump, it built people up, it woke people up. And this year was the ultimate put back to sleep. And I feel like that's where we're at now. You know, it was going in our favor, and then they put us to sleep this year. And now you see how it works. Where like now you have the liberty movement is kind of shattered and kind of complacent and not willing to admit what happened. So it's like, you know, one way or another, this seems to be a problem where it was a pro and now it seems to be like sort of a con. So it's interesting, but I think if you stay level-headed and you stay honest, we could get around it. But it's a tricky thing to do. They're very good at social engineering, and we're in a pickle, no question. Someone said I'm laughing my ass off, literally. Well, I'm glad I'm funny to somebody. The next month will really prove it. If he has a big win that's undeniable, that'll be the greatest story, one of the greatest stories ever told. If he just exits out talking about Operation Warp Speed, a lot of people will ask the question, did we just get played? We'll see. You should interview Dylan Wheeler, the old educating liberals guy. I might. He messaged me. He said, he said some nice things to me. So maybe I'll chat with him. But he had hit me up because he was critical of what I was saying. And then he had his whole like little shift of mindset. And he said, Anomaly, I appreciate what you're doing. Nice guy. I think he means well. Maybe we'll chat sometime. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mendez. I appreciate you. All right, we'll do a few more and then I'm going to roll out. Thank you guys for being here. Someone said, I don't know, man. Trump is fighting for election integrity. Is he really, though? Is he really fighting for election integrity, or is he talking about the election and selling Moderna vaccines? Because I see him as, you fight for election integrity by having a plan beforehand. I don't know. You fight for election integrity by saying something about Dominion before the election, shutting down the country, allowing them to do mass mail-in ballots, being a day late and $1 short, and completely just not being able to catch them properly or do something about it. To me, how come he can't fight for election integrity and have an open up? If he was fighting for the election and said, hey, I'm fighting for the election, but also we need to open the country up 100% capacity, I would be fine with it. But the fact that he's saying, we need to fight for election integrity, you guys should care about election integrity, and I'm going to sell this Moderna vaccine, seems very sneaky. So he could easily do what he's doing and try to open up the country, or say to open up the country, or say anything. I mean, if I had $1 for every time he tweeted about Moderna, I'd have a stimulus package at this point. And if I had $1 for every thing he said about the lockdowns, I'd have $1. He said one thing in the last month, and it was a nothing burger. So, he could very easily fight against the lockdowns. He's just not. It's disappointing. It's sad. It's surprising in some cases, but he's just not. Someone said election interference voting is another psyop. I think it could be in some ways. Here's why I'm going to say, because with Dominion voting, you can Google, the Democrats were complaining about it for years. Texas knew about it. They could have. I mean, this is not us. Like, we don't know everything about the machines, but like, when you have billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars and you're worried about cheating and mail-in ballots, you should know about the machines and how they're counting them. So why didn't they do anything before? And in some ways, it just feels like they've destroyed the country, and now they're destroying our elections, where I don't think elections were that fair to begin with. But now Trump is pretty much, in my opinion, if he doesn't pull this off, he's given them justification to do anything. If Trump is going to throw this big of a fit over the election, what happens next time a Hillary Clinton loses to someone like a Trump? Now what can they do? They can just seize power. Trump has kind of given them the green light to just do whatever they want. It's like they could abolish the Electoral College and get away with it. Do you know why? Because there's actually, in my opinion, there was never a legitimate reason to abolish the Electoral College. But when you have the Electoral College go one way and half the country thinks it went the other way, and Trump is suing, trying to get it to go the other way and telling people to go rogue, now they could go and say, no, this is a good reason to abolish the Electoral College. And to be honest, I don't agree with it, but they have a case now because of what Trump did. And if they abolish the Electoral College, you'll never win an election again. You'll lose every election for the rest of the time. So it's like this whole thing is like, either you win. If Trump wins, that's one thing. If he doesn't win this, he kind of set us up for failure, in my opinion. If you really look at it, he set the election up to just be completely bamboozled for the rest of the time. He set up the country to just hand the keys over to Biden after he kind of just tanked it or didn't do much to reverse it. So I'm not blaming it all on him, but I think it's interesting to ask the question, like, is this just another part of the show? Because 2 years ago, if you say abolish the Electoral College, no, I would be like, that's a terrible argument. But now half the country would be like, no, it's right. Because what's the point of the Electoral College if it goes one way and people don't even agree with it? I feel like it's kind of set the Democrats up to just seize total power. Someone said they can't abolish the Electoral College. At this point, they might be able to. I don't know. If they could shut the country down, they could abolish the Electoral College. If they can destroy 100,000 restaurants, They can do whatever they want. Trump opened the door to doing anything. He pretty much seized total power this year, let all the governors do whatever they want, but he didn't do really anything. So, I mean, at this point, the rules don't matter. I think the Democrats don't play by the rules, and the Republicans do, but they don't enforce the rules. That's my saying, by the way. I see a lot of people I'm not going to name names, but I saw somebody post it on Instagram and not credit me and act like they said it themselves. It's fine. But the Democrats don't play by the rules. The Republicans play by the rules and they don't enforce the rules. That's an anomaly quote, but people, influencers are stealing it and pretending like they said it. It's fine. I get it. I got more things coming up. But someone said LA and New York would decide the fate of every election. Oh, it'd be a nightmare without the Electoral College. But there's a legitimate argument to abolish it now, because how do you have an Electoral College if people don't respect it anymore? And people don't. All right, a few more and then we're out. I need a little stretch. Where's Bernie? I don't know. In one of his 3 houses or something? I missed some money comments. I'll try to scroll up, but yeah, I don't always see them all. I apologize. I try to get most of them, but it's not a full guarantee. Someone said, Anomaly, do you know Trump went to the Supreme Court before the elections? Robert threw it out. Yeah, no, I understand. I had his back before the election because people told me too, they're like, he's not doing enough for mail-in ballots. I agree in the sense of he did do a lot. Like he's been suing all year. No, I do agree with you. He's been suing for the mail-in ballots all year. As far as the Dominion voting, I think they dropped the ball on the Dominion machines beforehand. But with the mail-in ballots, it's interesting. I agree. He did try to do some lawsuits and they got thrown out. It's interesting too because in Brazil, Bolsonaro is like pretty good. I mean, he's not. I don't know if he's perfect, but he talks some pretty big shit. But the Supreme Court of Brazil doesn't listen to him, so it's like Bolsonaro doesn't get away with. Even with Trump, I feel like certain things are outside his control. So certain things are in his control, and he could use more. But yeah, at the end of the day, where is the Supreme Court? Why are they not overturning the restaurant thing? We have a Republican Supreme Court now. Where are they? They're nowhere to be found. So I'm not blaming Trump for everything that ever happens. I'm just saying he has been a part of it in some ways. Maybe not so much on the election side, but with the lockdowns, I don't think he's been completely hands clean. But there's a lot of layers to it. Linda, this is a great comment. Linda said, it's crazy how they seem to come up short. I hear you. They do seem to come up short, and it's very annoying. With the Supreme Court, I get the election, but like the election's a trickier case, although I get people want to see it. The restaurant thing is not a tricky case. To me, there should be a Supreme Court election case like tomorrow about restaurants, and they should open all restaurants, allow them to open. I don't know why they're dragging their feet on that. I don't know how it works, but will I watch the 3 videos? No, I'm sorry. I can't even check my emails. I get like thousands of messages a day. I read all my Patreon ones because that's, where people, that's my deal on patreon.com/raretalk. But I get too many messages. My life would be hell if I read everyone's messages. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, I don't physically have the time to see everything all the time. I just can't, or else I'd never be here. Paul Revere said, see you in the gulags, y'all. It's been a good run. Listen, my gulag is going to have Wi-Fi. It's going to have a basketball court. I'm going to have a gym. I'm a bougie slave. So, even this year, I call myself a free range slave. I worked my ass off my whole life to not be completely poor. And now I'm a free range slave. The one year that I actually get enough money to like take a vacation, they put me in prison world. So it's like, I'm not going to be in the worst gulag. I got to have Wi-Fi, iPad, you know, a good sound system and a basketball court in my gulag. Cause this year, you know, I'm not struggling, but I can't get coffee. I can't go anywhere. Everybody acts like I have a disease. I show up there. Ooh, ooh. It's like, what did I do? I want to give you my money. I worked hard my whole life. I actually can tip you. I'll tip you $100. Today I tipped someone $100 because it was someone's daughter. She cut my hair. It's like, take $100. It's fine. It's a nice thing to do. Like, I'll go to leave me alone and I'll give you $100. Just stop. Like, ooh, get back 5 feet away. It's like, can we not? Can we not treat me like this? Do you mind? I'm just standing here. I'm like, hey, can I get a coffee? They're like, Beck. I'm like, just stop. I'm a free range slave this year. My gulag's going to be balling. I'm not going down without a fight. There needs to be a basketball court or else AOC is going to have to build. She's going to have to build it herself. Someone said billionaires got to eat. Definitely not a billionaire. But yeah, they need to eat while everybody else's restaurant goes out of business. That's what's happening. Someone said Oklahoma has a restraining order, so I believe it goes against the commission. Bars and restaurants don't have to close at 11. Awesome. God bless Oklahoma. You guys are crushing. Anomaly, Loeffler staff dating Kemp's daughter killed in head-on collision with Humvee. Both cars exploded. No word on who was in the Humvee. The deep state don't play. I did see that. That was pretty crazy. That was kind of creepy. I agree. But at a certain point, if that's really happening, like, wouldn't you just blow the whistle? Wouldn't you just be like, yo, this crap's happening? Or you get what I'm saying? If that's really what happened, isn't somebody going to spill the beans at one point? Or are we going to have to play this game all the time where we just don't know what's happening? Has High Impact hit you up since you called him out on his mask? So like, no, we haven't talked, but I mean, I would have another conversation with him if he wanted to. I haven't really seen his videos and stuff, but no, we haven't talked since the 4-hour debate. I enjoyed it, but you know, could have been better. I've been making homemade beans lately and they're fire. God bless. Some homemade beans. Someone said would not bang AOC. AOC's a Muppet. She's got them crazy eyes. She's a pretty girl, but she needs to calm down. She's too wicked. The wickedness is kind of eating her alive. If you notice, they call it body language. Like if you look at Bill Gates talk about his vaccines, it's just bad body language. I'm no expert, but he's holding the mug the wrong way. He's like, he says, so many times. For such a smart guy, not very prepared. You know, you see me on the one time I was on Fox News, I had a suit. I barely stuttered. Maybe just one time I said, like 1 or 2 times. He says, 10 times in 5 seconds. It's like clearly lying. AOC, she seems very uncomfortable. She's like, she's got such a bad vibe when she talks. I feel bad because it's like the wickedness and like the lies are building up where she just doesn't look comfortable. Her eyes are bugging out. She looks like, you know, she's got that type of energy. Like where if you're sitting with her at coffee, you sit with me. It's like, you know, if I'm on a bad day, you know, it's like sitting with a boxer. On a good day, it's like sitting with Eckhart Tolle. It's like, man, this guy's really chill. When you sit with AOC, you're like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about something? Like she just like that's what's going on inside her head. She's like, I'm gonna explode. And you're like, but she's like sitting there, just like it's like, I get it. Being that much of a liar takes a toll. And being that famous takes a toll. It's a hard combo. I feel like, and she's got some feminist boyfriend or something. She's like, you know, everybody hates white guys, but then they date white guys. It's like, I'm just saying. You know, Jamel Hill, they asked her one time on ESPN, they're like, who are your top 5 quarterbacks who you think are the hottest? And they were all white quarterbacks. And now she's like black power, black pride, you know, but then she hates strong black men. She's like, I guess she only likes like gay black guys or something. I don't know, but it's like, whatever, you know, she needs a guy to just sit her down and be like, listen, I'm proud of you. You're doing a lot, but like, you need to just chill. It's a bad vibe. You get what I'm saying though, with the eyes and her like energy is just so, ugh. It just like, she stresses me out just listening to her. I'm like, it takes a lot of special effects to make her look cool. That's why these people are so fake. It's all special effects. It's all edits. Like Tom Cruise is screaming at people. He's like, what the hell? Did you hear that? Like Tom Cruise screaming about COVID. He's like, who the hell do you think you are? You're here because of people like me giving you a job, putting a roof over your head, and you have one freaking job. Wear the goddamn mask. Who the hell do you think you are? I'm Tom freaking Cruise. Have you seen that movie, Minority Report? I'm not a minority, but I got the report, bro. And the report says, put your freaking mask on your face. I'm Tom goddamn Cruise. Putting money on your table. You're goddamn like, I was like, dude, this guy sucks. Tom Cruise sucks. These people are horrible because they just make him look really cool. Tom Cruise probably can't even tie his shoes. And they make him, he's doing backflips and stuff. They think he's like a superhero. When people meet me in person, they usually say, you look taller than I thought you are because I'm tall. But in general, they're just like, I like your videos. Like people actually like me for who I am. It's a great thing. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful. All of these celebrities, they're such shitty people because people like them for who they pretend to be. Like Tom Cruise isn't Batman. He probably shits his pants and then yells at the assistant who he pays $15 an hour. He's like, I just shit my pants. I'm Tom Cruise. Why the hell wouldn't you clean it up? Like these people can't do like, they're not even athletic or they act like, whoa, like they see Robert Downey Jr. and they're like, dude, oh my God. You're Iron Man, bro. Oh my God, Iron Man. Can we take an Iron Man picture? And you're like, and they take an Iron Man picture. Dude, when you flew 1,000 feet in the air and just killed the villain, that was nuts, dude. Like, you're my hero. And he's like, I didn't actually do that. He's like, it's all special effects. I actually just shit my pants and they just put me in front of a green screen. They're like, dude, that's cool. I feel like there's something, there's something about that makes them terrible people. Cause like everybody loves them for who they're not. They pretend to be someone on a television and they're always like a less cool version of that. But the ones that are cool. But as far as like the other ones, it's like, I don't know. I'm Tom Cruise. Like I want to hear the video real quick here. I'll look it up. It's pretty funny. He's literally like, what are you doing? We're here feeding your family. Here, I'm going to find it. Tom Cruise. Here, we'll listen to it together, Audrey. Pretty funny. Here it is. Going off about the COVID.
We're making movies right now because of us. Because they believe in us for what we're doing.
Wow, dude, it's worse than I thought. He says, they're back there in Hollywood making movies right now because of us. They believe in it because this is so bad. Hold on, I'm going to play it. I need to get the volume up. Let me see. He's like, because of us.
We're making movies right now
because of us.
Because they believe in us for what we're doing.
He said, because they believe in us and what we're doing. What a loser. I wanted to say another word, but what a total trash. They believe in us and what we're doing. We're right here making money. Can you guys hear it? What a freaking pathetic loser. Hollywood making movies right now because of us. Believe in what we're doing. What a loser. Insurance companies. Producers. And they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. We're creating thousands of, what a piece of shit. It's just like Zoolander. Literally, it's like Zoolander. In Zoolander, they're like, who could do something? Who's this stupid? Like, you're all here running around because of me. I give you money. They believe in us. It's like, dude, F you, you loser. Well, I got to keep listening. This is worse than I thought. Well, producers.
And they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. We are creating thousands of jobs. I don't ever want to see it again. Ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired. If I see you do it again, you're gone. And anyone on this crew does it. That's it. And you too, and you too, and you. Don't you ever do it again.
What a piece of shit.
That's it. No apologies. You can tell it to the people that are losing their homes because our industry is shut down. It's not going to put food on their table or pay for their college education.
What a self-righteous piece of shit. Oh my God. That's Tom Cruise screaming at his staff because they're not wearing a mask. And he thinks like the whole economy revolves around Hollywood. He's like, they believe in what we're doing because of us. That's not going to, it's like, bro, you're hiring like a good amount of people for sure. But like, there's other industries out there that are shut. He's like, it's all Hollywood. They do everything because of us. Producers. We got to keep going. This guy is such a piece of shit. Hold on. That's what I sleep with every night.
The future of the industry.
The future.
I'm sorry, I'm beyond your apologies.
I'm sorry, I'm beyond your apologies. How hard would it be to not knock that guy out? Could you imagine? Could any of you imagine not knocking him out when he yelled at you like that, or just leaving immediately? It's like, bro, I'm not that broke. I'd rather work somewhere else. I'll go work at Starbucks rather than get yelled at by Tom Cruise. What'd you do today? Get yelled at by Tom Cruise for $15 an hour? It's like, dude, it's not the greatest job in the world, if you can imagine. I'd much rather work at freaking. I've worked overnight stocking at a grocery store. It's like, at least you don't get screamed at by some piece of shit celebrity.
I have told you, and now I'm glad. And if you don't do it, you're out.
Yeah, keep in mind, folks, these people he's screaming at, they're not making over $100,000 a year. These are not like, he's not screaming at like top level people. He's screaming at like stagehands who make like $10, $15 an hour, acting like they can't find another job for that amount. Like, I'm sure half of them quit that day. They're like, this is way worse than working like any temporary job anywhere. Working at a gas station, even if you work there permanently, working at Wawa, Kroger, anything. It's like you can make just as much money as getting screamed at by Tom Cruise. What do you want to do? Get screamed at by Tom Cruise or just be left alone? Maybe you could work like deliver Uber Eats, make more money. You'd probably make more money delivering Uber Eats, and you wouldn't have to get screamed at by Tom Cruise unless he ordered Uber Eats and then screamed at you again. It's like, geez, Tom Cruise, you're everywhere, just screaming at everybody. Just stop.
You're not shutting this movie down.
What a freaking loser.
Is it understood? If I see it again, you're gone, and so are you. So you're going to cost him his job. When I see it on the set, you're gone, and you're gone. That's it. Am I clear?
And he's clearly screaming without a mask on. He's screaming with no mask on. So this is what makes me sick about the mask mandate. The higher level people like Tom Cruise, he's not wearing a mask. So he's like, you put your mask on. It's so evil. It's so mean. Like, it's so demoralizing. You're working for somebody who's making millions of dollars and you're barely making any money, and you have to put on a mask and they scream at you when you're not wearing it. It's like slavery. What a trash guy. All right. Anyway, but this is how terrible these people are. He literally sounded like Zoolander. Like Zoolander, Zoolander's like, I'm the best. I'm ridiculously good looking. Like Tom Cruise, like, they're here because of us. Like he's acting like no one can do what I do. Like they're the wizards of society, just like so important. I mean, who else could pretend to be somebody they're not and act cooler than they are? I mean, we're the ones running the world right now, not the truckers, not the farmers, not the people who make cars and make planes, not the engineers and the scientists and the laborers and the people who get the oil to put in the machine so we can operate all. Those people aren't essential. It's me, because I'm giving people hope with my fake Hollywood movies. I'm the really important guy here. I mean, what a piece of shit. That's insane. That's so great. He's like, when I pretend to be somebody on a screen, if Tom Cruise never made a movie again, I guarantee you nothing would suffer. Nothing would happen. If a police force retired, you'd have some problems. If truckers went on strike, you'd have some problems. If farmers went on strike or Monsanto ruined their seeds, you'd have a problem. If Tom Cruise and all his friends never made a movie again, I can guarantee you no one would care. And they'd find somebody else that did it exactly almost the same. And literally the world would not at all be worse. Literally, it might be better. Without their propaganda films, you might have much more prosperity. Like the fact that he thinks he's that important is literally insane. That's wild. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, I guess he was mad because they weren't wearing a mask off to the side or something. Remember Oprah's couch? Yeah, that was crazy. Oh, yeah, he's jumping on the couch. Dude, that guy's a wild boy. Wild, wild boy right there. Baby boy. Big baby boy. I would not want to cross that guy. He'd be like, Anomaly, don't you know who I am? Have you ever seen me jumping out of a plane, huh? Without me jumping out of planes, how are people going to put food on their table? How's the world going to run if they don't watch me and my new movie coming out October 2021, 2021? I don't know, Tom Cruise. You're right. I'm sorry. I don't know what people are going to do without you, dude. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking about like, I don't know, like banks and currency and like, the financial crisis. I don't know why it slipped my mind. I was thinking about freedom, the Constitution. How did I forget about you? I didn't even think about that. I mean, the Constitution and the financial industry and the farming industry is meaningless without a stupid Tom Cruise movie. Wow. Good point. Yeah. Okay. That's nuts. Someone said Tom Cruise is better than Trump. Damn, that's the meanest thing anyone said about Trump the whole time. People think I'm mean to Trump. You said Tom Cruise is better than Trump. That's harsh. Someone said he's a Scientologist. Yeah, but I like some Scientologists though. I'm good in the Scientologist hood. I'm not a Scientologist, but I like some of them. I feel like they're up to something sneaky, but as long as they keep me out of it and don't bother me, I don't care. It's like you be doing some stuff. They're anti-pill. They clean up the streets in LA. I'm okay with the Scientologists. They're not all acting like Tom Cruise. Shout out Scientologists. Just don't call me. I don't like when if they call you and call you. That's when it becomes a problem. They stalk you. That's annoying. If you're just going to do your thing, that's fine. They're not. Scientologists tend to be like more right wing, and they seem. I don't know. I've had good interactions with some. Just the stalking part gets weird. It's 3 hours. All right, we got to go. Was it 1:50? All right, 2:00. We're out. So I said I'm up for replacing Tom Cruise in every film. I mean, I'm sure he's a good actor, but whatever. All right. 10 minutes max. 2:00. We're done. We're done here. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. We still have almost 2,000 people. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. I'll still take a question or two or see what you guys are talking about. But Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah is past, if I'm correct. So God bless all the Christians, the Jews, the Muslims. If you're atheist, you'll find God. It's like you'll look and you'll find him one time. But anyway, God bless everybody. Happy winters. And, hopefully you guys have a good winter and enjoy yourself. Make the most of it. And we'll figure out what we can do. We're not going to get sad. We're going to have a plan for 2021. And once this election is over, I think more people will come to their senses. I believe it. Al Bundy said, Tom thinks he's a real samurai. No, that's what I'm not even kidding. That's the dynamic. Like I'm not, it's not all about me, but like when people see me, they actually like me for what I do. When people see Tom Cruise, they like him because he's a samurai, but he's not a samurai. Like imagine if you came up to me and you're like, Anomaly, I love when you played Iron Man, dude. When you flew 1,000,000 feet in the air, went to the moon and shot that guy with the laser from the moon, dude, it's like, I never did that. Like when people like me, it's for things that I actually did. When people like Tom Cruise, they think he's a samurai. So he thinks he's a samurai. He's like, what do you think the people are going to do? Last Samurai? Are you kidding me? You think America can move back past the Great Reset? You think they could take down the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum without the Last Samurai to inspire them? Are you kidding me? It's like, bro, you're not really a samurai. And then it's like, what do you mean I'm not a samurai? Watch the movie. You're like, Tom, I was the producer. You weren't really a samurai. You didn't do any of your own stunts, Tom. We had some Asian acrobat do all your stunts. He's like, you got to be kidding me, dude. You don't remember not doing any of that? He's like, it all just seems so real. It all just seems so real. I thought I was the guy. Everyone thinks I'm the guy. It's like, yeah, but you're not that guy, though. You're really not that guy. We have way more athletic people doing the stunts that you can't do because you can't do them. It's like, but I thought I was the samurai. That's why they're such pieces of shit. I'm not even joking. Like, people like them for people they aren't. He thinks he's a samurai. He's like, if you don't put your mask back on, I'm gonna go get the skinny blade, do 3 backflips, and I'm gonna slice you straight to hell. And they're like, Tom, you can't actually do a backflip, bro. That wasn't you. That was the other guy, the stunt guy. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Rebecca. Merry Christmas. Citizen Soldier said, DNA-specific bioweapons to target different population groups might be developed by the bad people. Check filtered out comment for more important message. All right, thanks, Citizen Soldier. Someone say, quit hating on me. I'm not hating on you. I'm just talking about Tom Cruise. Are you Tom Cruise? If so, I apologize. Oh, someone said, I hate Tom, but he does 90% of his stunts. Okay, so he really is. Okay. Maybe that's why he'd be talking big shit. He's like, I do 90% of my stunts. Okay. All right, Tom. All right. Talk your shit, boy. Okay. I apologize. Mr. Stuntman over here. He's the real deal. He's the real McCoy. He really is a samurai. Let me see. Does Tom Cruise do his own stunts? In the first 4 Mission Impossible movies, Tom Cruise made it a priority to perform a majority of his own stunts. In Mission Impossible 1, he hung suspended from the ceiling, performing all types of acrobatics. Even in his 50s, Tom Cruise does a lot of dangerous stunts. Still, he doesn't go all the way in many cases. He does have a stunt double. All right, well, he doesn't go all the way. I mean, I'm not impressed. He doesn't go all the way. You know, the really hard stuff, he's like, he does it all to look cool, and then as soon as it gets deadly, he's like, okay, you can go kill yourself now. That's what he does. He does all the easier ones. And then as soon as it gets really dangerous, they're like, what about the spikes? He's like, oh, no. Like, this guy's going to go kill himself over there. No, it's impressive, though. Just not as impressive as it could have been. It's okay. Someone said John 3:16. Amen. Someone said, I think Jackie Chan did. No, Jackie Chan definitely did. Like, that guy knew his things. Like, Tom Cruise tries. He's like a big baby boy. You know, he tries really hard, but Jackie Chan probably did more. He's an acrobat, not a ninja. All right, enough donkey on Tom Cruise. His rant was pretty mean, though. I've had some mean rants, but I don't think I'm that mean over something like that. That's not my thing. All right, what do we got? 3 minutes. Let's make the most of it. I want to say real quick too, I haven't been promoting a lot because my shop is like, the pandemic is like screwing up the shirt. I don't know, they're like running out of hats and stuff. So I'm like, get your stuff together because I don't feel like having to do this much customer service. So in general, I have stayintouchwithme.com. If you see that, it's usually in my bio of some sort on YouTube or Facebook. Stayintouchwithme.com. If you just type it in, stayintouchwithme.com. It's a free email list. Sign up. I appreciate it. I barely use it. I haven't even used it this month, but I'm collecting emails. I feel like it's good to have emails. I'll probably reach out to you later this month at some point, give you an update. And I'm working on my book. It's almost done. I missed Christmas deadline, so I just said, whatever, I'll do it next year, finish it. So stuff like that, important stuff, or if I get censored, let you know what's going on. Stayintouchwithme.com. It's free. And then I have patreon.com/raretalk. patreon.com/raretalk. And that's for people who want to subscribe. And I can't do that much because I'm always so busy. But what I can do is I answer every message there. So I can't answer all the Facebook messages. I can't answer all the Instagram messages. I make it a priority to answer all the Patreon messages. So that's the one perk if you subscribe on there. I could do more, but I like to prioritize making content. And when I look back at this year, I did a lot of videos this year, a lot of videos that take a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of articles, a lot of screenshots. I won't say stressful, but just a lot of time. It's not, these are fun and easy. I love the live streams. The other things take hours to edit. I edit all my own videos. So I could do other stuff, and I'm planning on maybe doing a podcast or something next year, but I want to be effective. And I feel like if I try to do that much super secret stuff, I wouldn't be able to get this much content to the public. So I prioritize that, but that's what I could do on Patreon. So I said Jackie Chan is the shit. Yeah, we love Jackie Chan. I mean me, but I'm sure a lot of people do. Someone said Donald Trump is going to unleash the military on the deep state. I will be impressed if he does. I will be impressed. I just don't see it, but we'll see. I don't know. I think what people underestimate, and I'm not trying to end on a down note, so now we're going to have to stay a little longer and end on a good note, but the military, most military members are good people, okay? Like the people on the front lines, the people even at the higher ranks. But when you go to the really, really high ranks of the military, from what I've heard is, there's some bad eggs. It's the same with I'm sure there's some actually, really good people in the FBI and CIA. But when you get to the higher levels, the people who control, it's harder. Same with, say, like a police force. You have a good police force, then you have a good police sheriff, but then they're superseded by the governor or the attorney general, whoever, and they're not good. So there's a lot of high level people, even in the military, who are no bueno. So he could, but I think, this year, the police seem pretty controlled through the higher levels, and same with the military. We'll see. I'm not, I'm not a hater. That's why people are like, if it happens, I'll told you so. I'm like, I'm challenging Trump. I'm saying, blow me away. It's like a challenge. It's fourth quarter. He's Michael Jordan. Like, are you going to blow me away or are you going to flop? I hope he does. You think I want to be right? You think I want to be like, oh, nothing's going to happen? No, I want something to happen, but I just don't see it. So will he really use the military? I don't even know how he would use the military against them because, we'll see though. We'll see. I'll leave it open. I don't see it. Netluck said, would love you to collab or produce a podcast for you. All right. Email me or hit me up on Instagram. It's so hard to see everything right now. I'm hiring my buddy, one of my best friends in the world. I'm going to hire him for January 2021, and he's going to help me answer emails. I'm going to edit a lot of my stuff, and he's going to filter through emails. So you can email me, but I'm going to have a new way to contact me for business and inquiries and stuff because I just can't. I hate emails. I wake up sometimes, and it's like I got so much going on. I just don't even want to answer anything. But we'll figure it out. Anomaly, did you hear that Lori Lightfoot interview from a month ago about the NWO and people will pledge to it? Yeah, I think it was earlier this year at some point. And yeah, I heard what she said. And then they did a fact check. They're like, she didn't really say that. I mean, I know what they're doing. I think she slipped up or used those words, but they're definitely trying to restructure the world. They're trying to restructure the country. And they're using this you listen to de Blasio, he's talking about redistributing wealth. You listen to Klaus Schwab. They're definitely using this pandemic as a Trojan horse to implement socialism and communism and tank America. I'm just disappointed more Republicans aren't fighting back. Someone said I live in LA and professional studio editor. All right, hit me up. I don't know, maybe like a music video or something. I got a new song with Trapped coming out. I have my own song coming out soon. Maybe like a music video. We'll figure it out. I just don't work that much with that many other people. Not in a bad way, but if we can collab on something and it's legendary and we can make something high quality, I'd be interested. I want to do a documentary at some point too. I think that's interesting. Someone said take a holiday. Oh no, I'm gonna enjoy myself, but I'm gonna get done things that I haven't been able to get done while I'm gonna try to finish my book. I'm gonna answer emails and try to I want to set myself up for success in 2021. I want to make sure I clean my slate. I feel like this election was crazy. This year was crazy. I feel I've been in a weird funk, not like terrible, but it's just weird. I mean, you can't even going out today, I feel uncomfortable everywhere because everywhere I go, it's like either they're not letting me in or they're like, oh, I'm not usually I'm smiling, I'm personable, but I can't because it's like even if someone lets me in, they're go here. It's like slave world. I'm just getting carted around and yelled at all the time. It sucks. So, I want to set myself up for success next year. Someone said, I miss the illusion of America. I hear you. I hear you. Do I do rituals for the Great Conjunction? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Do I do you doing and rituals for the Great Conjunction? Do I do rituals? No. Anomaly and Tom McDonald? Yeah, it would be a banger. I hit him up one time. He said he wanted to hang out, and then we just never connected after that. But some people, I don't know, because I like doing what I'm doing. I feel like I want to keep doing the news, but something tells me I'm going to have to drop some big tracks in 2021, because when I rapped live and people saw me do Bioweapon live, they didn't realize it was that good. They're like, I thought you sucked. And like, I'm getting some of my like music friends where I feel like people think like it inspires me. I got that like chip on my shoulder where I'm like, people are kind of throwing shade where I'm like, do I have to drop a fire album next year? I don't know. We'll figure it out, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably do more music. All right, let's end on a good note. Let's see. I'm going to try to be more chill too. I got a little annoyed about the lockdowns, but that's what I'm going to work on, is figure out the way to message it, have solutions, and do that. I don't want to argue with people on loop, because people who've been following since April, a lot of these questions people are asking in like comments, it's nothing new. It's been like, I feel like I'm on a merry-go-round. So I'm like, how do I jump off? How do we sidestep the circus? That's going to be the name. Someone said my mom's name is Carol. Well, God bless you. God bless Carol. When I meet people in person, they tell me stories about their parents liking their mom. It's very nice. I like hearing stories. Like sometimes it gets annoying online as far as like texting people and stuff. But when I meet people in person and they tell me about who watches and stuff, it's very nice. It's good to have a lot of support and have a lot of good people across the world. Cut my hair and donate it to you. I'll donate it to somebody. I don't know. Best way to contact me for serious business. Netlux, I would say if you want a quick response, Instagram, and let me know it's you. If you want to do like a serious email inquiry, just find my email somewhere. It's posted pretty much everywhere. Find it and say it's you in the bio, and I'll find it. Yeah, that's how. Someone said Netlux with the $2. I know he's being cheap but effective. I like it. I'm just kidding. I don't need any money, but it's like the $2 super chat, get the word in there and get your message out. I like it. It's a good strategy. All right. Saturn and Jupiter conjoined today. So I've heard. I know people are talking. I read one tweet where I got to see. It was like some black chick was like, today, she was like, we're genetically superior, and today we're going to be able to jump like 100 feet in the air or something. I was like, maybe, I don't know. If that happens, that'll be dope. But I don't know. People are talking this day up. They're like, today's the day Trump's going to arrest people. I could jump 1,000 feet. I could do this. I could do that. So that's why I'm saying, like, just try something out today. Don't hurt yourself. I don't want to be responsible for any sort of physical damages, but like, I don't know. Let me try some stuff real quick. No, nothing. I mean, the neighbors below me probably hate me, but nothing abnormal. I jump pretty high anyway. So yeah, I'm not feeling it, but maybe later in the day when Jupiter and Saturn align, I'll have superpowers. I don't know. Someone said $2, anything you want. Me love you long time. All right. Thank you, Netlux. All right. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Enjoy your Christmas. If you're Jewish, I'm too late, but hopefully you enjoyed your Hanukkah, and whatever you do for the rest of the year, I don't know, order Chinese food and just hang out. I don't know. I've always heard that stereotype that Jewish people eat Chinese food on Christmas, but then my dad was like, we're going to get Chinese food on Christmas. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's just a thing. But in general, enjoy yourself. To my Muslim brothers and sisters out there, happy Ramadan. If it's Ramadan time, let me look that up, because if it's not Ramadan time, I feel like an idiot. Hold on. Ramadan timeline. What is it? Let's see. Oh no, I'm totally wrong. Ramadan's in April. I'm an idiot. So whatever. What is it? I don't know. This is what happens when I try to be cultural appropriation. I'm just going to say Merry Christmas, but I know I have Muslim followers, so I'm trying to be nice too, and I screw up. Happy Kwanzaa. There's going to be some pissed off person who celebrates Kwanzaa. Someone says, sorry, I'm disruptive. I love your message. Move downstairs. LOL. It's all good. All right. Oh, it's still going? Hanukkah's still going. I'm wrong about Hanukkah. I'm wrong about Ramadan. I'm right about Christmas. I should just be like Trump. Merry Christmas. It's only Christmas. That's all we do. It's like, whatever. But I'm trying to be nice. I know we got an audience all over the world, and I screwed up. Okay. I ruined it. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Have a good new year. We'll be back soon. And I will be hopefully even better, even more honest, even more accurate, more high tech. Maybe we'll add a robot or something in 2021. But I'll probably do some work. But I do want to calm down for a week and try to figure out the next moves, because that's just where we're at. Okay. Have a good night. Thank you, Marla. I appreciate you always being here. Rebecca, I saw you there. Appreciate you. Cindy, we'll do some personal shout outs before I leave. Michael, A&R Farm, Sunflower, appreciate you. Melissa, Merry Christmas. Maria said over 3 hours. How do you do it? I don't want to give away my secret. But it's all good. It's easier than other jobs, so it's not that bad. But that one day I just was like tired. All right. God bless you guys. Have a good one. And I'll be back at some point for sure. Oh, interview on Tuesday. Like I said, if you follow me on Instagram at Dream Rare, I'm going to talk to Ian Smith, and he's really building a lot of stuff for businesses. So on a personal and business level, a lot of people are looking for solutions, and he seems like he built something. And I'm going to really walk through and interview him and ask him how he did it, in the sense of how did you stay open? How did you pay the fines? How are you doing this? So hopefully he can inspire some other business owners to figure that stuff out. But that's what it is. All right. Have a good one, guys. I'm out.